is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
I'm not okay with that.
It sounded good when I thought.
Log on and join our live conversation.
Yes, I don't like that. You're 100% right.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, August 21st. I'm here with Stephanie, Tori, Brandon. I am Sam. Let's get right to it. Well, a 15-year-old student in Florida was busted for allegedly threatening to shoot up a school. When police showed up to arrest him, his mom got visibly upset. This is at least the 27th arrest of this kind since the El Paso and Dayton, Ohio mass shootings. Let's take a look at the mom's reaction.
Go ahead and turn around. Put your hands behind your back. He's under arrest currently for making a threat to cause a mass shooting / act of terrorism.
Cause a mass shooting? These games, these kids say stuff like that all the time. It is a joke to them. It's a game.
Guess what
wrong.
my time in law enforcement is? All these kids keep getting arrested. And that's why the FBI and the local law enforcement is spending so much time. Because how do we know he's not going to be a kid from Parkland or an act of terrorism?
He's a little boy. He didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he's 15. He's still a little boy, and he's not one of the crazy people out there doing stuff.
Okay, well, he did what he did.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be treated as though he is a terrorist or something because he made a silly statement on a stupid video game.
Wow, this humanizes the entire situation, Brandon, because you can empathize with that mother. Yeah. She doesn't want her child's life to be ruined. However, that statement, in my opinion, needs to have serious consequences. But should it be a terroristic threat? What do you think?
I think so, Sam, because with where we are right now with these mass shootings, we have to do our due diligence in every credible threat. And normally, like she said, normally I would take it as a joke. People have said all types of things on me in the gamer chat rooms and over the headset.
I heard it's vile.
It is vile. It is vile. But when you say, I, Dalton Bernhardt, vow to bring my father's M15 to school and kill 7 people at minimum, you have to act on that.
That is specific. That's almost like Stephanie, a manifesto. He's proud. He's put his name in it.
His father's name in it.
He's listed how many people he wants to kill.
Yep.
That, to me, is a very serious threat.
Oh, I definitely agree with you, Sam, and I can understand the mother's point of view here because she's going to be in shock and there's police at her house. It's going to be an awful moment for her. But she said, don't treat him like a terrorist. They're not. They're being very calm, very respectful. They're explaining to her what the problem is and why. But also what they need to remember is that, like Brandon said, these Parkland children who have been in these exact situations, how would they want this situation to be handled? And everyone has a responsibility, all the social media platforms and the video gaming industry, to report any of these kinds of things.
Good for the FBI.
Oh, yeah.
Good for the person on the other side of that console. Good for them.
Take a screenshot. It's exactly what we're seeing, a domino effect. We're seeing more and more of this. The FBI is letting us know about 27 since El Paso and Dayton have been stopped because of this. The red flag laws save lives. You see it happening day by day. I just want to say the difference between the threats that Brandon said is because there's an imminent feeling to it. 7 people is specific. My father's gun, which you told me they
and
had.
there's a vow there. I vow.
Insert your name.
There's a vow.
It's not like I want to kill everyone.
No, there's a vow.
Exactly. So there's
very
the
alarming
difference. Yeah.
So I do think this is a great example of like the red flag laws and everything like that. So well done on the law enforcement. Well, student activists, speaking of which, Stephanie, from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School have just unveiled a sweeping gun control program for the first time since the mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton. They are releasing a plan they hope the whole country can get behind. It's called the Peace Plan. It would create a multi-step national gun licensing and registry program that would include in-person interviews and a 10-day wait before gun purchases. It would ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. It would implement a mandatory gun buyback program. It calls for the installation of a national director of gun violence prevention. And it would also raise the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. Well, the NRI responded, saying the gun control community is finally being marginally honest about their true wish list. The simple fact remains their proposals and ideas are out of the mainstream, and most people will understand their real intent goes beyond what they publicly state.
First off, for doing something. I'm sorry. Shame on Congress. Shame on the government. students,
survivors are doing something.
18-year-olds,
Survivors.
17-year-olds are doing this.
They're the ones that are losing their friends. They're the ones that are underneath desks doing the drills every day. They're sick of it.
I agree with you. Now, here's the deal. If they can get that youth vote that everybody wants, remember MTV Rock the Vote tried to get that. The 18-year-olds are the ones that don't go. But if you look at another 18-year-old who's also been under a desk and done those drills, it's hard not to think this is common sense. Just have a gun prevention national security manager.
Right.
The other thing is someone wrote me, and we're in a great debate right now, the whole World Channel, and was speaking about this, and when we talk about the Second Amendment, I just want to remember the words well-regulated militia. I don't find what's happening now well-regulated. Yeah. It's random white supremacists with AR-15s. That's not what the Second Amendment says. So let's stick to the Second Amendment. Let's stick to it for real.
And people are going to go back and forth when it comes to the Second Amendment, but I want to bring it back to the kids because we were just talking about a 15-year-old running his mouth online. But these kids are about AA. Awareness with the March on Our Lives
and
when they protest and activism.
Amen.
Because now they are following through, putting together some sort of proposal. But Sam, you know what I'm scared of? And Stephanie, you know what I'm scared of? Is that this proposal may just sit there on Mitch McConnell's desk.
Because it's become politicized. It has. I want us to stop thinking Republican, Democrat, NRA, anti-NRA, pro-NRA. Just think about it as a human being, as a parent. This isn't extreme. Nobody's taking away your guns. I know that certain people that are for the Second Amendment believe that this is a way to chip away at that amendment. Listen, I'm for the Second Amendment. I'm all about protecting myself in my own home with my own gun, but I have no problem going through these steps at all because I want to make sure that my child and my peers and my fellow American citizens are not only safe going to school, but they're safe going to a church, they're safe going to a synagogue, they're safe going to a mosque, they're safe going to a theater, a concert. It's everywhere. That's the sad thing. Everywhere, Stephanie.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to hope that at least what you just said, Tori, you said that the children that this has affected, there's been so many, there's been nearly 300 shootings so far this year, but this is a ripple effect because it's not just those students and kids, it's the teachers, it's the families, it's the friends of friends. So what I would like to see is all those communities come together and really, really push to get this forward.
Yeah, let's talk about
voting life or death. Yes. This is one of those things.
Yeah, and let's come together on this. We all have the same goal. We want to protect ourselves and our children and have a better future here in America. So hopefully we can come together. Well, it turns out basketball legend Larry Bird doesn't want to be considered a so-called tattooed guy. Not after this mural of him popped up on the side of a building in Indianapolis with tattoos covering his arms, hands, and even his face. Larry says he worked hard on his brand and the tattoos go against that. The artist who painted the mural has agreed to remove all the tattoos except for Indiana. I got to go to Brandon because you're a former pro athlete. Okay, so you're applauding this artist who's now going to remove the majority of the tattoos except for Indiana. Do you think he should have had to begin with?
Well, it was a she. And yes, because he respectfully, or his camp respectfully reached out to her and said, her camp, and respectfully said, I don't want you to remove all the tattoos. No, I just want you to remove the tattoos and not the mural, because Larry Legend has a certain type of image that he puts out there. He is a good, clean-cut country boy from Indiana, so he's okay with keeping the Indiana. But the spiderweb tattoo can be translated in different ways because it means that you spent some time in prison, or it's a symbol of white supremacy.
You just nailed why she shouldn't take the tattoos down, because it can translate differently. That's called art. Art is about
white supremacy in today's age.
Hold on. Art is about starting a conversation about juxtaposition. You're seeing Larry the Legend, the white bread guy, mixed with the NBA of today, with the Allen Iverson tattoos, with this Rodman tattoos. That's an image that brings together a conversation, right? About where we are, what the climate is like, what the society is like. You can't tell an artist painting a mural, take off some of those tattoos, I don't feel good about it. That's not art. That's dictatorship.
What if those tattoos represented something? And I want to go to you, Stephanie, because what if someone painted the Queen, did a mural of the Queen of England, and
so we've seen multiple.
Is there a line though, Stephanie, if they would put an image on there that you felt depicted hate?
I mean, I definitely have seen it. Andy Warhol's done, not specifically hate. Banksy, the graffiti artist, done it. And I think this is like a trend as well. Like you said yourself, you bought a picture of Marilyn Monroe.
You're right, in Venice Beach.
And describe that picture.
That picture was almost a mugshot of her, and she was covered in tattoos, full neck tattoo. She had a teardrop. She had a bandana. I thought she looked dope.
See?
I preferred that Marilyn as opposed to the Marilyn with her flowy dress. So
it's just, you know, it just creates
you know I have a thing for neck tattoos, right?
Yeah,
I do. I do.
Yeah.
So with Marilyn
The
neck
alter
tattoo,
ego.
there we go.
And for you, that was a cool juxtaposition
Yes,
of what could she
loved
have been
it.
So where do you fall on this argument?
I was on your side, but they've convinced me. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry.
No, you don't get 2 claps for that. Come on.
Sorry, they convinced me.
I understand.
They did.
I understand, though.
Okay.
Come on, that's Larry Legend.
We're
baby.
moving from one Larry to another Larry. After 7 wives, Larry King is calling it quits yet again. 85-year-old Larry King has filed for divorce from his 59-year-old wife, Shawn King. They were married for 22 years. TMZ is reporting they have been separated since June and that their 2 sons are in support of the split. Shawn was allegedly unfaithful in their marriage, and the couple fought over property ownership. Shawn is Larry's 7th wife and his 8th marriage.
Wow.
Wait, 7th wife and 8th
That's
marriage.
what I
Does that
said.
make sense?
He
I'm
was-
having a hard time with
Wait,
that.
7? I don't
He
get that.
remarried the same wife.
He married the same
Good job.
Lo and behold, Brandon London is the voice of reason at the table.
Good job.
Wait, this is an amazing run, though. 22 years. But so he actually originally filed for divorce in 2010 from alleged rumors of her being unfaithful,
With the baseball coach.
rumors, alleged, and then again in 2016, and then there was a big article. A few people went to People magazine and said she has been unfaithful. He addressed those rumors and said, no, it's not true, it's not true. And then this obviously third time, it's
the 8th time. So what do you make of that? If someone would you, let's say you met someone you thought this is the love of their life, Brandon, but then you found out they have been married and divorced 8 times. What would you think? What would you be like? Okay,
Girl, bye.
Okay.
No, it depends
but
on
what
what
if it's
age I'm at. If I'm over 80, then yeah.
Okay, Tori, if it's the love of your life.
If it's the love of my life, yes, but
8 times?
Anytime, can I be honest? And I'm being really honest. Anytime over 2 or 3,
that's the number for you.
4 to me is too much.
Is there a number for you? 4 then would be your number.
3. I wouldn't mind being wife number 4.
Wouldn't mind being wife.
I'd be scared to be wife number 4. Wife number 2 or 3, I'm okay with, but I think 4 would be.
Yeah.
And if you do the math, wife number 4 equals side chick number 8. You gotta times it by 2.
I'm actually 2 is enough for me. I would have to be. I would. I think
Wife
have to be
number
real.
3.
I would have to be wife number 2.
Wife number, okay,
no,
wife
I would have to be wife number 2. I'd be nervous.
All right.
Wife number 3, yeah. That's
I'd be nervous. 2, it didn't work out, and then because mathematically, yeah, you're right. The odds are against me.
May the odds be in
It
your
already
favor,
is against
Sam.
you, right? Isn't it like 51% of Americans
sure
end in divorce?
Yeah, it's really sad.
Goodness, wow. Well, DBL's live. Coming up, meet a great grandma who loves the thrill of jumping out of planes. Yeah, G-Ma. Find out why this jump is extra special in Heart Threads. And you, the viewer, are our 5th host. What would you do if you lived in a neighborhood named after a KKK member from the past? Would you change the name, keep it? Your comments next.
Hi there, DBL Nation. Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news. But Brandon has something he needs to tell you. He has called me up to the desk. Brandon, tell us what's going on.
Okay,
I can't wait to hear.
Sarah, we have a DBL viewer. First and foremost, we love DBL Nation. But Sarah, I absolutely love you for this comment. She goes, Larry King has scored a touchdown in marriages and then went for the 2-point conversion.
Oh, Sarah, comment of the day. Brr, 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 brr.
Wait, 7 wives married 8 times. At some point, statistics.
Yeah.
She just assaulted me.
Can I ask you a
Just assaulted
question?
me. Yes.
How many marriages is too many marriages?
If I get,
It's hard because
Let's
what
see.
if you have like a really young marriage when you were really young?
That's
and it was
okay,
like,
yeah.
it went a
I'm
bit
gonna be one and
wrong.
done.
But then you have a love marriage and then that
if you meet
goes
a man-
wrong and then the third.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
If you meet a man and he tells you he's had 5 marriages, is that too many?
I think we just said it.
Okay, what about 4?
Is our number. I can't be wife number 4. I can't be wife number 3.
If somebody had already been married and divorced twice and I'm the 3rd, I would be hesitant.
anxious.
I would be very anxious because why didn't it work out the first 2 times?
Unless it was a young
But
thing
what if
like
it
you
was?
said.
Yeah,
Think
I guess
about-
I'd have to look at it case by case, but after 3, I'd be like, hey, there's a pattern.
But some are really sad. Like
Yeah.
sometimes someone passes away.
Yes, that's what you have to get case by case.
Sometimes someone gets cheated on, and
Or they got married very young. Yep.
So there's a few exceptions.
There's a few exceptions. She's right.
I
She's
took
right.
your IG story.
Yep.
It says, still being single at 34, I'm 34, just means I statistically avoided my first divorce.
I hope that didn't offend anyone. I thought that was pretty funny.
What do you mean offended? Yeah.
It made me laugh pretty hard. Yeah.
Marriage is like Hunger Games. May the odds be in your favor.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many.
A volunteer's tribute.
Yeah.
Is that what they do? The 3?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, that was really awful.
We look like crazy people.
1, 2, 3.
Why do you
No,
four
Tori's
up?
messing us up.
It goes
Yeah, she's messing us up.
I don't think.
There we go.
Tori, how long do you think you would last?
Oh.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host. When we talk about what you're talking about, Colorado homeowners have voted against changing the name of their neighborhood, even though it's named for a past member of the KKK. Stapleton, here in Denver, will still bear the name of the controversial mayor who was a high-ranking Klansman decades ago. Meantime, Stapleton's community center and a local school changed their names to separate themselves from the racist past. So DBL Nation, would you vote to change the name of your town if it was named after a former KKK member, or a KKK member from the past, rather, not former? Go ahead, Brandon, take it away.
Here we go. Gregory from Facebook says, I don't think dead people benefit in any way from having a town named after them. So who cares? Gregory, thanks for writing in, but I think the people who cares are the people who look at what this man did and how it shaped how Stapleton, or how politics in Denver kind of is right now, because this was the guy who appointed a fellow Klansman to multiple positions in the Denver government and appointed a Klansman as police chief.
Yikes.
So history is the reason why we are where we are right now with
Can you imagine the race relations and social injustices that occurred underneath that police chief? It's you can't repair it,
and you can't deny that.
You can't repair it.
Right, exactly.
We don't even know.
No, exactly. We have no. Exactly.
Yeah.
There was no camera phone back then.
Yeah,
exactly. Debbie from Facebook says, "Come on, who voted against this? Your neighbors. If I lived there, I would immediately put my house on the market." Debbie, yeah, thanks for writing in. At first, I was against this because I thought it's going to be so expensive to change a whole town. You've got to change the maps. You've got to change Yelp reviews for every single business. That's a big deal, right? But then I thought about it, and I'm like, would I want a Nazi name or Gerbersville if I were living anywhere? And the answer is no. It's up to each town individually, but I say I would vote for changing it.
Mark from Facebook says, I guess there probably already is a petition to officially stop calling the US America. Why waste time changing names, redefine them? I don't agree with you, Mark. I'm really sorry. I think it's a really positive and powerful message to rename this town due to the gentleman, well, I say that word, the ex-mayor who ran it and the way he chose to do so. I don't think it's right. I don't think that's what America is or what it stands for. And I think that, therefore, they should come together as a community and just get rid of it.
Squash it. Callie from Facebook says, I wouldn't feel comfortable living in the shadows of the KKK. I wouldn't either. That's just the simple truth of it. And I think this could be a great learning experience for the youth of that town. So why not make this a positive thing, like Stephanie said?
All right. Mary from Facebook says, how did the town go for so long without it being changed? It must still be racist, like many other areas in this country. Agreed. I come from, I'm a grandson of grandparents who have seen the KKK and the Knights ride at night, you know, from Jackson, Mississippi to Charlotte, North Carolina. So
Jackson,
I'm all about
named after Andrew Jackson, a very racist president.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Well, thank you for writing in, DBL Nation. We do always love hearing from you. Well, today we are learning how Lori Loughlin feels about the whole college admission scandal. Ooh, Raquel, you gotta fill us in.
Well, Sam, a legal source close to the actress is opening up to People. They say Lori Loughlin is remorseful, and as to why she pleaded not guilty, the source says Lori thought what she was doing was the same thing as donating money to a school to have a library built. She and her husband, Massimo Giuliani, are heading back to court next week to face fraud and money laundering charges. They allegedly paid $500,000 to get their daughters into USC. Now, the source says Lori is ready for this to be over, and she's ready to spend a few months in jail because she says she's already spent several months in her own prison.
Raquel, I gotta call BS on this. I'm sorry.
So BS.
When you are sending in photos of your children in rowing, like fake rowing, like
Photoshop.
What don't you realize? What do you think the library is going to benefit? Do you think the library is going to hang those up in the library walls?
Yeah.
No way.
Also, her own prison in a millionaire's villa. I'm sorry.
This is I don't get it. Just own it like Felicity Huffman did. Felicity Huffman owned it. I've already forgiven her. I'm already rooting for her comeback. But I can't say the same for Lori Loughlin. It's just a shame. Wow. All those young kids out there that deserve a shot.
I agree.
Yep, Yep. Coming up on DBL, a daredevil great grandma loves leaping out of planes. Yes, find out why she's putting her life on the line next in Heart Threads.
Ooh, what's up, Daily Blast Live? I'm here to spread all the beauty tea, okay? And today we're talking about the fabulous Chrissy Teigen. Now, my girl, Chrissy Teigen, was seen on Instagram. She actually posted to her Instagram story of getting Botox. Now, this isn't your regular Botox by any means. She was getting armpit Botox. I know. Kind of weird, but let's go ahead and go back and talk about why armpit Botox can be good, okay? So Pit-Tox, what I like to call it, let's go ahead and hashtag that actually. Hashtag Pit-Tox. I like that. Pit-Tox is great for people who sweat a lot with their armpits. I actually would be a great candidate for this because I can make a monsoon happen sometimes, y'all. It can be bad. However, not everyone can actually keep it under control like I do. So for people who are able to actually go up to that step beyond, Botox in your armpit actually helps to block your sweat gland to make sure that you're not gonna be outpouring oceans of water through the day. Now, if you're a celebrity, this makes so much sense. Why would you wanna go on a red carpet and be dripping in sweat, especially from your armpits if you're wearing like a Givenchy dress, wearing a little bit more of like a, you know, something like Chanel. If you're spending a lot of money on that, you don't wanna see sweat stains at the same time. So I think Chrissy Teigen actually made an amazing choice to go ahead and get this Pit-Tox. Remember that, y'all, hashtag Pit-Tox, and making sure that she's gonna be looking great at all times. Now, the only thing is with this, I talked to a dermatologist myself, and they said that you should actually be getting Pit-Tox done every 4 months. It actually rinses through your system, so it's not gonna be a one and done, guys. Remember, this is gonna be something that happens quarterly, so save those coins if you're trying to take these sweat glands away, all right? Now, until next time, guys, I'm Jeray for the Slay. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms, and let's talk some more beauty tea on the next video. Yeah, that one. Click that one. Just that one right there. It's cool. Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about an adventurous great grandma. Watch how her love for skydiving turned into an effort to help others.
This great grandma jumped out of a plane for a good cause. For her 73rd birthday, Shirley Romig went skydiving.
When you jump out, your mouth opens and you're free falling, and it's awesome.
Shirley's granddaughter Cassidy joined her. While it was just the first jump for Cassidy, it was Shirley's 5th. This time, Shirley was jumping to raise money and awareness for PAVE. PAVE trains service dogs for veterans that provide emotional support and even physical assistance. For Shirley, skydiving is a thrill, but helping veterans means so much more.
22 suicides a day is just totally unacceptable. And when you can see what a dog does for these guys, I mean, I know what it does for me, and it does for them, and I've seen it.
You're right, Shirley. 22 suicides a day is unacceptable. Thank you for your work that you're doing for our veterans. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, today I am going to be trying my first ever corn dog. I've never seen a corn dog, I've never smelled a corn dog, tasted a corn dog, ever. The only time I've really heard about a corn dog, I think, if I'm correct, was when Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman said, let's pop a squat and eat a corn dog. That might be completely incorrect. I'm sure you guys will write in and let me know. But let the corn dog commence. Okay, so this is my first look at a corn dog. It looks slightly questionable, but I'm gonna sniff it. It kind of smells like it should taste like a donut. Okay, it's not hot, so I'm just gonna go for it. Do I just bite in? Just bite in? Just bite in. Oh, you know what? That's all right. It tastes kind of a little sweet. It tastes like a hot dog with sweet, chewy bread. You know what? With a bit of ketchup, I would rate this quite highly. 7 out of 10. To all the corn dog lovers out there, I salute you and I join the club.
Welcome back to DBL. Check out this photo of a young girl mesmerized by an Ulta beauty poster. The ad features a woman in a wheelchair just like the girl. The 4-year-old has a rare disease causing her to use a wheelchair, and the girl's mom thanked Ulta for the ad, which she said, Tori, stopped her in her tracks. Your tear, I know.
It's like real tracks, too.
I know.
Here's the thing. It's not just an advertisement. It's a pretty girl advertisement. She's a pretty girl.
Yeah.
She's a lady. She's a little girly girl, and the wheels aren't important.
She felt represented and beautiful and seen. And you know that all too well, given your mom has been wheelchair bound.
It's a wonderful move by Ulta. Very, very
well done, Ulta. Well done. We will see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.
I know. I always.
Guys, that is a great story. If that doesn't make you tear up, I don't know what does. Great story. I love seeing companies show representation of everyone because we're all the same, so great to see. I've got quite a trending story for you right now, and please write in your DBL take about this. So Connecticut residents, they've turned a conservation area into the bedroom. Seniors were caught having sex in this wooded area in Connecticut, 6 of them, ages 62 to 85. Seniors, all of them having a senior orgy, if you will. 6 people between the ages of 62 and 85 were arrested and charged with breach of peace and public indecency as part of the surveillance operation conducted by the police department there in Fairfield. I think Chris is laughing in the background about this story. So cops had received reports. I guess people saw this all going down, which is quite something to see. A bunch of people out there in the woods. So they were charged with indecency, like I said, and they were released from jail after they appeared in court. So it's not cool to have sex in public. You shouldn't do that no matter how old you are. But I'd love to know what you think about this story. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, August 21st. I'm here with Erica, Jeff, Al. I am Sam. Let's get right to it. A 15-year-old student in Florida was busted for allegedly threatening to shoot up a school. When police showed up to arrest him, his mom got visibly upset. Now, this is at least the 27th arrest of this kind since the El Paso and Dayton, Ohio mass shootings. Let's take a look at the mom's reaction.
Go ahead and turn around. Put your hands behind your back. He's under arrest currently for making a threat to cause a mass shooting / act of terrorism.
Cause a mass shooting? These games, these kids say stuff like that all the time. It is a joke to them. It's a game.
Guess what
wrong.
my time in law enforcement is? All these kids keep getting arrested. And that's why the FBI and the local law enforcement is spending so much time, because how do we know he's not going to be a kid from Parkland or an act of terrorism?
He's a little boy. He didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he's 15, but he's still a little boy, and he's not one of the crazy people out there doing stuff.
Okay, well, he did what he did.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be treated as though he is a terrorist or something because he made a silly statement on a stupid video game.
Wow. Well, that humanizes, I think, the whole situation in the fact that you can empathize with a parent fighting for their kid. But, Jeff, this was a threat. I don't know if you saw exactly what this kid said.
I heard, yes.
You heard. It was like a manifesto.
He said, I vow to,
yep,
right, I vow to kill 7 people.
With my dad's M15, very specific,
right.
Very manifesto-like. So what do we do here?
Here's the thing. I sympathize with that mother being a parent, first and foremost, of course. As a citizen, there's got to be repercussions for this. If kids are doing this and throwing it around and it's not a big deal in these chat rooms, it needs to be a big deal. Our level of gun violence is so heightened in this country. I don't care if it's a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 30-year-old. There has to be repercussions for your actions. Very sad watching that woman cry, but there has to be repercussions because guess what? There's parents crying all across this country because their kids are dead. Not because they said something stupid, but because their kids are dead from mass shootings.
No, you're absolutely right. And we also see, Erica, we see an example recently. I mean, 27 people have been caught. That could have been 27 mass shootings thwarted if all of them were credible. And at the very least, if they're not credible, at least we see a precedent. So we're seeing the FBI stand up. We're seeing people on the opposite side of that gaming console stand up. So these are almost like red flag laws being in place from our own law enforcement and our own citizens.
Right, and it's not as though we don't have examples of this in other ways. I mean, it was within our lifetime that you can't say bomb at an airport. No one is fighting the idea of not being able to express their freedom of speech in order to board a plane if boarding a plane is a priority for you. Right. Now we're seeing people policing each other, and when you police each other, that's far stronger than anything that the authorities are going to be able to do on their own. One thing that I've learned recently from working with authorities in different matters is they are so grateful for someone being forthcoming, articulate, being able to say what they're seeing in order for them to do something about it. It falls on all of us, and I think that a lot of parents are going to heed the warning and have conversations with their children, which is what it's all about.
Because of this, right? So well done all around, but I do sympathize with that mother. Student activists, speaking of which, student activists from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School have just unveiled a sweeping gun control program for the first time since the mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton. They are releasing a plan they hope the whole country can get behind. It's called the Peace Plan. It would create a multi-step national gun licensing and registry program that would include in-person interviews and a 10-day wait before gun purchases. It would ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. It would implement a mandatory gun buyback program. It calls for the installation of a national director of gun violence prevention, and it would also raise the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. The NRA responded saying the gun control community is finally being marginally honest about their true wish list. The simple fact remains their proposals and ideas are out of the mainstream, and most people will understand their real intent goes beyond what they publicly state. Well, we can only, let's not hypothesize and speculate. We can only go, and I read that entire peace plan. We can only go off what that peace plan is. We just highlighted it for you. As someone that believes in the Second Amendment and someone that believes in protecting yourself with a gun in my own home, I have no problem following these steps. So what's the issue here?
Well, the NRA is never going to take a step back. I feel like they look at what happened to the cigarette industry and they said, we're never going to do that. And what I mean by that is you think about, like, you used to be able to, I'm watching Mindhunter now on Netflix, and I'm amazed that you can smoke cigarettes on planes. And remember that, then is you can't smoke in a plane. Then you have to step outside. Then you have to be 50 feet away from it. And now you've seen the cigarette industry they've been pushed out. And I think it's because they feel like they gave up that first step of not being able to smoke in a restaurant.
So you think this is a plan that's going to slowly chip away at the Second Amendment?
That's how I think, that's why they have such a zero tolerance with anything. They're like, what about people that are mentally ill?
Do you believe that?
Of course, I believe that there should be things in place to make this safer. We have it with everything else. This isn't some kind of radical idea. This is the only thing. If we were talking about cars, well, we had this exact same conversation. We'd be like, we're making it pretty hard for a 16-year-old to get a car. Everybody could know. It's a $4,000-pound missile, yes, that can be pointed in any direction. So we want to show these kids how to handle them.
You go through training.
Everything.
You go through the license and the registration.
Yes, there's a person with a clipboard checking off what you're doing.
You got to go to the DMV.
Only guns is something, like you said, Jeff, you can get it online like you would MeUndies.
You took my point right out of my mouth. I was going to say, take for instance a car. You have to go get your tags every single year and pay the government. Why wouldn't they do the same thing and tax it on guns? You have to take your test every couple years. You have to go and renew your license and retake that test. Why wouldn't they just do the same thing with guns?
Because the other side believes that this is slowly chipping away at the Second Amendment.
But we haven't been chipped.
I know, but they believe if this is approved, Erica, what's going to be approved in a year, then what's going to be approved in 5 years. That's what the other side is saying. And what would you respond to that with?
I think Al's really spot on. I think that they're looking at other industries and saying this could be us. And I think a part of that is the way that we have these conversations. It's big blank, big oil, big tobacco,
big pharma.
NRA, like when people start going on their whole thing about how things aren't the way that they used to be or how they should be, then we start lumping all these people together and people get very, very upset about
territorial.
That. Right. So I do understand. I think you're spot on. They want to be seen in their own element and treated as if they're a separate entity, and they see what happened to the other industries.
But meanwhile, we've got a national health crisis here where we have people dying left and right. And I think we all have the common goal. I can say this with certainty. We all have the common goal that we want to protect ourselves and our children from everywhere, from a movie theater to a synagogue to a church to I mean, I could go, the list goes on everywhere. So let's just hopefully we can come together.
Don't forget, Sam, 2 mass shootings one day, nothing happened.
I know. Well, I hope things change. I really do.
One picture of a straw in a turtle's mouth, ban straws across the nation.
Well, that's an issue too.
Look, come on, Sam.
That's an issue too. It is, because if we don't have, our oceans, then we don't have.
I'm making a point.
I know. Okay. After 7 wives, Larry King is calling it quits yet again. 85-year-old Larry King has filed for divorce from his 59-year-old wife, Shawn King. They were married for 22 years, and sources say Shawn was blindsided by the news and is devastated. The two have been reportedly separated since June. Shawn was allegedly unfaithful in their marriage, and the couple fought over property ownership, and Larry's recent health scare led him to reconsider their marriage. Shawn is Larry's 7th wife and his 8th marriage. You're shaking your head, Erica. Tell me, what are you thinking, girl?
Well, you know, it's really sad because the 2 children out of all of Larry's children were the 2 children that are her kids.
But I guess they're okay with this. They've spoken forward saying we want them to split. It's time.
But it's about the property.
Yeah.
So it's the idea of being able to figure out what's going to happen once their father passes.
Right.
And that's always a red flag, especially when you're having these conversations when the person's still here.
Right.
It's pretty telling to me that they've been married for 22 years and her name isn't on the family home. But for that to be a move to be made now, it just seems like it could be a recipe for the rest of the family being split, and that would be really a shame if she was estranged from her 2 boys.
No, I agree with that. But what, you know, looking at, I'm reading the comments earlier, Jeff, and people are saying, okay, how many marriages would be red flag for you?
I think this is too many.
How many would be red flag?
Jeff, don't go out on a.
I think after 3, you should just be like, maybe we should just
date.
Yeah, you know what I mean. After you get it right after 3, I don't know.
That's a
God
red
bless
flag.
everybody, but
Okay.
for me, it's 3.
And did you have a red flag number?
Yes, 7. That's a whole bunch.
Gosh.
If you go to Disney World 7 times in your life, like, you did something.
Yeah.
You've been married 7 times?
Erica,
like, just showing
what
up.
would have been your red flag number?
My red flag number personally will have to be 2
There you
because
go.
if this doesn't work out, then there's no way I'm getting remarried.
Donezo.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
All right. Well, DBL's live coming up. Triple the star power when Nicole Kidman, Charlize Theron, and Margot Robbie team up for a movie all about Fox News. We'll show you a sneak peek for Bombshell. Plus, women in their 40s and 50s face unique challenges. We're talking to the founders of Second Act Women to help you reclaim your power. And you, the viewer, are our 5th host. What would you do if you lived in a neighborhood named after a KKK member from the past? Change the name, keep it. Your comments coming up next.
DBL Nation, Kelly Schubert here, the DBL digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news for you right now. But the hosts are chatting, so let's go see what they're chatting about. Hey guys, what's happening up here?
Okay, I'm gonna have to go next break if that's okay.
What's happening?
Huh?
What was that?
What's up?
Do you want to talk about our podcast?
Go for it. I did yesterday. You weren't here.
Okay, great.
I totally did.
DBL Nation. Tell me the truth. Did Jeff talk about our podcast yesterday after I left? I don't buy it.
I did.
You did?
I pumped it up.
You did?
I did do it one day. Maybe it was Friday.
Oh, so you didn't really do it yesterday?
When were you gone?
Friday.
Yeah,
That was like 5 days ago now.
Look at my nose.
Not yesterday.
Well, I talk about it.
Well, it's called In the House with Jeff Schroeder and Kelly Schubert.
Okay.
And we do it every Friday, and we go over what happened during the week. Jeff, of course, is a former house guest twice.
Okay.
His wife won. Her name's Jordan. She won the game. I try not to rub that in too often, but sometimes I like to.
Member of instead of.
I like when they ask me to do that. Hey, man, you want to start a podcast? It's super fun. 10 minutes of your time. Don't worry about it. That's it. Hey, pump it up. Post it on your Twitter. Do it. Come on. Watch the podcast. If you don't want to watch it, guess what? Don't watch it. Don't listen to it.
Can't watch it.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, it's there every Friday, and we will be doing it again this week. We're getting down to the wire. Host, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. Have you guys read any comments yet?
No.
Okay, so we have people weighing in. Okay, so somebody agrees with Jeff about California's banning straws as asinine. Actually, single-use plastics is a really big deal. I know people think it's ridiculous, but when you look at the harm that it's causing for our reefs and the acidification of the reefs, and then it damages those ecosystems, there is a domino effect.
All right, I was making a point that there's a picture of a turtle and everyone acted swiftly. We're having over 250 mass shootings and nobody's doing anything.
Totally.
That's the point I'm making.
I just don't want people to not think it's a serious issue.
I don't think they got. I don't think they took
Do you think
that.
things would have been different if they had shown the pictures from Sandy Hook? Not that they should have, but that would have really jump-started people.
I don't know what would
just being
jumpstart
some
people
kind
at this
of
point.
abstract
You know what I
theory.
mean?
I don't think there's. I think it's just become too political. I think this is just.
I like how the NRA's like the.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Colorado homeowners have voted against changing the name of their neighborhood, even though it is named after a mayor linked to the KKK. Stapleton here in Denver will still bear the name of the controversial mayor who was a member of the Klan decades ago. Meantime, Stapleton's community center and a local school changed their names to separate themselves from a racist past. So DBL Nation, would you vote to change the name of your town if it was linked to a racist past? Take it away, Al.
All right, Jim from Facebook says no. The name of the town doesn't matter to me. I'm about living in the now and helping my community today. Jim, I agree with you in that sense, but I mean, if you know, we've kind of had this conversation with the Washington professional football team. I mean, I don't feel comfortable saying that team name, and I think when we look back 30, 40 years from now, when we realize that there was a football team named after somebody's skin color, that'll seem crazy. So the idea of having a town named after a KKK member should seem equally crazy. Fix it. Won't be that hard.
Sharon from Facebook says, absolutely no more time for hate in our country. Only the ignorant have yet to learn from the past. Sharon, I appreciate your sentiments. To me, it's interesting because my black friends just started moving to Stapleton not that long ago, so I thought that there was this idea of inclusivity. I personally feel like the name should be changed, especially because Denver, even 10 years ago when I got here, and this is just on the outskirts, was one of the most inclusive big cities in terms of racial diversity within marriages and with children. So I think it is really important to reflect how Denver is special and unique compared to other cities, and Stapleton should follow suit.
Barb from Facebook says, history is history whether we like it or not. Despite what a person believed, they may still have contributed to a town's origins, and they should be honored for that. Barb, that's a tough one. You know, I see what you're saying here, but here's the thing. If you want to go down this rabbit hole with this town, change the name. I don't care. For me, I don't care. Change the name. If it helps you out, if it makes your day easier, do it. But if you want to go down this rabbit hole, let's look at every company that was maybe started in the South from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. See the origins of that and what that company is today. Are you going to go down that rabbit hole and stop eating the chicken that you eat? Are you going to stop buying the milk that you buy? Are you going to stop shopping at the store that you shop? If you want to go down this rabbit hole, we should do it all across the board and make everybody happy.
All right, and Sylvia from Facebook says we should not honor former or current KKK members. They're not just racist, they are domestic terrorists. Amen, Sylvia. I agree with you tenfold. Not only was this mayor a former KKK member, but this mayor put in place other leaders in this community, including a police chief that was a KKK member. Can you imagine the damage that caused in that community, considering that a former or a KKK member of that time was the police chief? So I think it's absolutely inexcusable, and I think they should change the name.
Right.
So much damage has been caused.
I think also it should be pointed out that Stapleton is not exactly the cheapest place to live. So if you're going to be paying $500,000 to $700,000 for a place to live, especially
homeowners taxes,
exactly.
Absolutely. What a great point. Coming up on DBL, iconic actor Robert De Niro isn't playing games. We'll tell you why. He's suing a former employee for millions, and you won't believe the connection to the show Friends. Plus, we have a story about why you should never underestimate women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. You cannot miss this when DBL returns.
Hey guys, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news for you right now, but it's time for Fast Blast, where I give you all the trending news you need to know in under 2 minutes. Let's get that timer up. Here we go. A 27-year-old woman just put a ring on it. Well, kind of. So there's a park in Arkansas where you can search for diamonds, and a Texas woman just hit the jackpot. So she was searching for about an hour when she discovered a 3.72 carat yellow diamond. That's right, a yellow diamond. She says she decided to visit the park for something fun to do with her family. She was apparently chilling in the shade watching a YouTube video on how to find the diamonds when all of a sudden she looked down and there it was. The shiny yellow diamond was mixed in with other rocks. Oh, I know what you're thinking. How much is this bad boy worth? Experts say there are so many factors that go into appraising a diamond like this, but it will most likely run somewhere in the tens of thousands of dollars. Good find, girl. Photoshop fail or publicity stunt? That's the question people are asking today after Kim Kardashian posted a picture of a new collaboration with her sister Kylie Jenner. Now, sure, you might think the weird part about this photo are their outfits, but look closer. Kim has 6 toes.
Oh my God!
A lot of people are calling it a Photoshop fail, but she pays her employees a lot of money to catch things like this, so I say it's a publicity stunt. A new study out today has people scratching their heads. The study finds that visiting a city park could make you as happy as you feel on Christmas Day. What? Researchers at the University of Vermont looked at hundreds of tweets every day from people who posted from city parks. Now, those people tended to use happier words and were less negative on Twitter than they were before the visit to the park. And get this, the study found the more trees, the better. The people visiting parks that were smaller or parks that were mostly paved didn't have as good of moods as people who visited parks with...
Welcome back to DBL. Society calls it a midlife crisis, but Barbara Brooks and Guadalupe Hurt call it a quest to reclaim yourself. Here's their emotional story about how they were aged out of their careers and started Second Act Women, an organization helping women as they age. Enjoy.
My name is Barbara Brooks, and I am a proud 52-year-old.
My name is Guadalupe Hurt. I am 46.
I'm an award-winning marketing director, and suddenly I was out of a job.
After 24 years of doing public relations and having a steady gig, I found myself back on the resume grind.
I never knew that age would be something, that age would stand in my way, and sure enough, it did.
I would say after, 30, 40 resumes that I had sent out, you can imagine that you start to feel crappy about yourself.
But I'm going on all these interviews and I'm walking out killing it. I know I'm killing it, and I'm not getting the calls back. It made me feel like I wasn't worth a darn.
But I refused to live in that negative space. I refused to let other people define my abilities.
Women 40 and 50 plus, there are many challenges that we face collectively.
So I've got news for you. We are here to break the glass ceiling. Enough is enough.
Wait a minute, I am good at connecting people and marketing and public relations, and I am good at building brands and strategy, and I listened to quite a few people who said you should just do your own thing. I pulled the idea off the shelf, was going to do a women's business event, and so I started up a marketing and public relations company, Second Act. Lupe and I joined forces.
It just clicked for me that I had found my next passion project, helping these women not feel the same way that I was feeling when I was submitting those resumes. I am the daughter of 2 immigrants, and I am completely proud of everything that they've done for us. This is our place. This is our home. We have a lot to freaking contribute. But people sometimes just don't even give us that fighting chance, especially as we age.
40 is the new 40. 50 is the new 50, 60 is the new 60. This is what we look like. We feel more confident than we ever have in our life. We know that we can design our own lives. It's just a matter of how. And Second Act really is the second phase of your life.
I want women to feel like, you know what? I don't have to prove anything to anybody else but to myself, because I'm pretty badass. And so are you.
Lupe and Barbara, thank you both so much for sharing your super powerful stories. I know that it resonates so much with our DBL Nation. Where can they find more information about your program?
Yes, they can go to secondactwomen.com. That's where they can find a community just like you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing again.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, Barbara, I've known you for a decade, and you've always been badass.
Thank you.
You too, girl. You too, girl. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
What does Wednesday mean? It is officially hump day. Why do people call it hump day? Because it's like the middle of the week, you've got to get over that, and then the weekend is in sight. So we're almost there, people, and it's almost, well, where we are anyway, in Denver, Colorado, it's almost lunchtime, and you better believe that I'm hungry. Hungry for your comments, DBL Nation. Let's have a look. We've got some fifth host comments. So There is the town. Well, this is actually across a lot of different places in America, but there are different towns, one in particular, which are considering changing their name due to the fact that the old mayor from Stapleton, years and years and years ago, was part of the KKK and hired members of the KKK to be in the police force and be police chiefs, and it was just really awful. So what we're talking about and what we're asking you is, do you think that the town should change their name? First, I don't know if you heard that Chris was saying yes in the background, saying should they change their name, or is it too much hassle? So let's have a look and see what you guys are saying. So there are so many comments, we've got loads. Carrie Smith is watching on Facebook. She says, no, the past is over and done. No one would have even known or cared about this if it hadn't become a big media deal to stir up trouble. Now, we have more important things to deal with and fix. I'll be honest, yeah, there are more important things to deal with and fix, but this is still a really important message, and I think it's one that all of America can learn from. I think it shows that that isn't the America that we want. I think if they change the name, it sets a precedent that times have changed and racism is bad, and we're moving forwards as a nation, I think. But yeah, there are lots of other issues that need dealing with. You're right, Carrie. Let's have a look. Sheila the Trees, she's watching on KGW TV in Portland. Why do we have to change things from the original and tear down statues of history? I don't think anyone's saying about tearing down statues from what I can gather, but I think the point is that this gentleman did some really awful things. He was very racist. He was part of the KKK. These are people that murdered people, that lynched people, that treated people horrendously. So that's the reason why.
I think about it like this, Stephanie. Just think about how much blood this guy could have on his hands.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know, but appointing a chief of police as a KKK member, that's just allowing the police force to do whatever they wanted back at the time. Thank you for taking my digital.
Change the name.
Welcome back to DBL. If you're hitting the road next weekend for Labor Day, get ready for travel headaches. We know we all have them, but don't worry. My girl Tori and myself have some ideas to make this stress-free in this DBL drive presented by who, y'all? CarShield. That's right.
My group of friends in LA came up with this idea for if you're in super bad traffic like Labor Day or Memorial Day traffic. The idea is to call Pass the Playlist, okay? So someone gets the phone and they put on music and whatever, pick a song, any song in the world right now.
Mambo number 5.
Oh, I love that song. A little bit of Erica is all I need. Anywho, you take the last letter, which would be E, and the next person gets the phone after the song is done and has to start with the letter E, the song, the next song. Yes. Anything with, so I would do Everybody Hurts, something like that.
You would play that on a road trip. Why are you so sad inside?
Who hurt you?
We know you need to get to your destination. So here's how to do it without the travel headache. Set the alarms for the crack of dawn. The best time to leave is between 5 and 7 a.m. on Friday or Saturday. Let your phones do the planning for you. Use apps that help plan your travel and alert you of closures and delays. And for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote.
Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
Oscar-winning actor Robert De Niro is suing a former employee for millions. We'll tell you how the TV show Friends plays a part. Then, a bride is going viral for wearing her wedding dress everywhere she goes. Is she nuts? Or is she onto something? And caught on camera, incredible scenes playing out across the country. Sometimes you gotta see it to believe it when DBL returns.
What's up, Daily Blast Live? I'm here to spread all the beauty tea, okay? And today we're talking about the fabulous Chrissy Teigen. Now, my girl, Chrissy Teigen, was seen on Instagram. She actually posted to her Instagram story of getting Botox. Now, this isn't your regular Botox by any means. She was getting armpit Botox. I know. Kind of weird, but let's go ahead and go back and talk about why armpit Botox can be good, okay? So Pit-Tox, what I like to call it, let's go ahead and hashtag that actually. Hashtag Pit-Tox. I like that. Pit-Tox is great for people who sweat a lot with their armpits. I actually would be a great candidate for this because I can make a monsoon happen sometimes, y'all. It can be bad. However, not everyone can actually keep it under control like I do. So for people who are able to actually go up to that step beyond, Botox in your armpit actually helps to block your sweat gland to make sure that you're not gonna be outpouring oceans of water through the day. Now, if you're a celebrity, this makes so much sense. Why would you wanna go on a red carpet and be dripping in sweat, especially from your armpits if you're wearing like a Givenchy dress, wearing a little bit more of like a, you know, something like Chanel. If you're spending a lot of money on that, you don't wanna see sweat stains at the same time. So I think Chrissy Teigen actually made an amazing choice to go ahead and get this Pit-Tox. Remember that, y'all, hashtag Pit-Tox, and making sure that she's gonna be looking great at all times. Now, the only thing is with this, I talked to a dermatologist myself, and they said that you should actually be getting Pit-Tox done every 4 months. It actually rinses through your system, so it's not gonna be a one and done, guys. Remember, this is gonna be something that happens quarterly, so save those coins if you're trying to take these sweat glands away, all right? Now, until next time, guys, I'm Jeray for the Slay. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms, and let's talk some more beauty tea on the next video. Yeah, that one. Click that one. Just that one right there. It's cool. Bye.
Actually stays like this.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. We are live. Let's get started. Put on your dancing shoes for Dancing with the Stars. The cast was announced today, and the celebrities really showed up. They include supermodel Christy Brinkley, basketball player Lamar Odom, Kate Flannery from The Office, and James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. Fans suspected this was Hannah B. from The Bachelorette. And they were right. She's also in. Fans also speculated this was Mary Wilson from The Supremes. Oh, you were right or wrong, Erica?
I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, how do I know her?
Okay, so she almost got it. And of course, friend of DBL, star of Queer Eye, Karamo Brown is also included. And now the show's longtime host, Tom Bergeron, is speaking out about the cast since he was hoping for a season without any political affiliations. But former Trump White House press secretary Sean Spicer is one of the contestants. Yeah, and it's creating a lot of pushback. A lot of the Dancing with the Stars fans did not want any sort of political affiliation. They just wanted it to be their favorite, most beloved stars.
I know we're getting kind of serious, Sam. Can you just be honest? Was my name on that list and you just
No, honey, wasn't on it. But Karamo's is.
Karamo, yeah, but I mean, I feel like mine was right in between.
No.
But it was just Al.
It was. You would know. You would have been at GMA today with Karamo.
Well, the day's not over yet.
I talked to Karamo earlier. He is elated. This is one of his all-time dreams. Everybody has big dreams. You love Hallmark, right? You want to. No, you said that yesterday. You said.
I got some other dreams.
I know you do. But we all have like the end-all, be-all dream of where we want to end up. And of course, Karamo's, I'm sure, is like having his own talk show. Hold up. But this was also on his bucket list. So well done, Karamo. We're so proud of you. What do you think? So who did you think it was? Why were you so perplexed?
I couldn't figure out what's her name again?
From The Supremes. From The Supremes.
We're doing a great job.
Mary, right? Mary, yes.
Mary. I just knew that she looked, because people were speculating that she was, mainly there were 3 guesses and they were all white. And I'm like, that is not a white lady. That is a black lady. But I can't figure out. And then somebody was like, Tina Knowles. I'm like, that is not Tina Knowles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was driving me crazy.
Erica, can you tell me, was she in that movie 20 Feet from Stardom? Did you guys see that about all the backup singers from the 60s that were basically on every track?
No.
You guys, it's really powerful. I actually cried twice in that movie because of the voices of these women. And
incredible.
It just talks about the sacrifice that people had to make to be backup singers where they could have been.
It's so true.
It's really
They could have easily been their own big star.
Yeah.
And I just want to, I know, first of all, you know I love Hallmark movies. Before we move on, and the other day you said that you wanted
I
some
like
Hallmark
it.
movies.
It was just, I was just a weird pick out of the bag.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Sam, you did swivel to him and go, you like Hallmark.
Listen, we all have things that we want to do. Many people would think that Karamo's being Dancing with the Stars wouldn't be at the top of his list. Let me tell you, it's been Homeboy's #1 for a long time.
That's really cool.
So I'm proud of you.
Is there a
Karamo.
show that would be like, Sam, would you do like AGT or No, in terms of like a contestant show.
A contestant show? Meaning like I'd want to be a judge on?
That you would want to be on.
Like as a singer?
Dancing, whatever.
No.
No?
No, I'm not very good at singing, dancing, none of it.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess judging is going to be where we go.
But sign me up as a judge. We're getting our first look at the movie about the women who brought down Fox News chief Roger Ailes. Check out the sneak peek of Bombshell.
Hot in here.
Whoa, the cast seriously looks like the famous people they portray. Check out Charlize Theron as Megyn Kelly. The resemblance is uncanny. Same goes for Nicole Kidman, who plays Gretchen Carlson. Bombshell hits theaters in December. Okay, I'm looking forward to this, Erica, a lot, especially because this was, many people will see many bursts of the Me Too movement, of course, well after Tarana Burke, but this was the beginning, especially with Fox News. So I'm excited to see these women's stories and how it's portrayed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because they're far more complex than I think most people are giving them credit for.
I think so too.
Because the idea of you've obviously taken some things in order to get in this position, and then you get in a position and somehow you get emboldened in order to bring down the people who are oppressing you, but then also you're in a position of power. So that's a very weird situation to be in because you know that there was oppression at the beginning, but now you are in a position to be the catalyst of change. So I think a lot of people are going to be really surprised by these stories.
And they look just like them. I mean, these are three iconic women that you just want to know more about as well. Are you into this?
Yeah, I'm kind of into it. I would like to know who's like directing it and where they get the storyline from, so it's not totally biased.
I
want an accurate description of what happened.
I would love to hear from the women involved and find out if they gave it their blessing. I would want to know that. I would.
Yeah. All right.
We'll wait and see. Good commentary, Al.
I thought you wanted to move on, so I'm trying to do my professional, well done and swivel.
And
now I'm back over here, and we have nothing to say.
He's right. I'm wrong in this one.
Because then usually when you push him, he asks a weird question.
You're right. He's right. I'm wrong. Robert De Niro's company filed a $6 million lawsuit against a former employee. The suit alleges she racked up thousands of dollars on fancy restaurants and Ubers and used millions of De Niro's frequent flyer miles. And to top it off, De Niro claims she binge-watched 55 episodes of Friends while on the job. Okay, that would piss me off too. Here you're paying somebody good money, you believe in them, you hopefully, believing that he was a good employer, right? This is just me generalizing, but believing that he was a good employer, he gave her everything, and then she seemed to allegedly take everything. But I would be ticked too, being like, so the times that you were supposed to be working, you're watching Friends when I'm paying you? Ooh, I would see red.
Well, I would see red. I'm sure this is someone doing the books for Robert De Niro, and they're like, this person did all this. I'm sure it's not Robert De Niro at home going through all of his Uber receipts, and he's like, I'm gonna go get this girl. You know what I mean?
Unless he had an inkling.
There probably was an inkling. It's bad, and you really hurt more than mad when the 55 episodes of Friends gets thrown into the millions of frequent flyer miles and misappropriating funds. So that means that it's
she
personal.
ate my cinnamon cookies.
Personal because she mistook his kindness for weakness, and nobody liked that.
Let me ask you guys this, because I have a friend of mine who his dad is an interesting character. We'll just leave it at that. And I've always brought him up as an example because people consider him kind of a jerk, but no one does stuff like this to him. And I wonder when people go, oh, my employer Sam, she's so cool. She gives me Fridays off, and she gave me the password for Apple TV. when you are, the cooler you are with your employees, the more you get this. But if your boss is kind of a jerk, they don't do this. I'm sorry.
Our first employee, we were so nice. He would just always be on his phone, and both of us would like go behind the wall and be like, "What do we do? Did we approach him? We were way too nice."
When you say always on his phone, like what do you mean?
I mean,
like in your face?
Was always on Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, the list goes on. So my husband and I had to learn to become authoritative real quick. But once you learn, you learn.
Yeah, there it is. For real.
Not that tough. All right, let's move on. Oh, it was bad, Al, let me tell you. There's another unexpected celebrity jumping on the hashtag Hot Girl Summer trend. Stephanie, is it you?
Oh, I wish it was, but it's not. Hot Girl Summer is the latest online trend started by rapper Megan Thee Stallion, and it's easy to participate. All you guys have to do is upload a very summery looking selfie. So we saw Jada Pinkett Smith. She was one of the first celebrities to jump on the trend, but now there's a new celebrity having a Hot Girl Summer. Do we have any guesses? We need a drum roll for this one. It's only Jared Leto. The actor uploaded not one, but 2 Hot Girl Summer selfies showing himself soaking up some rays while shirtless. I mean, who can blame him? Look at those abs. So DBL Nation, are you having a Hot Girl Summer? Send us in your pics. Back to you guys.
That hat doesn't do it for me, Steph. The hat ruined it.
Maybe he didn't get the memo on what a hot girl summer is, but Jeff, what kind of summer are you having?
Well, I forgot. What was I having? We went over this yesterday.
Jeff is having a Russell Wilson summer.
A Russell Wilson summer.
Because I'm having a Sierra summer.
Because I said, where did this originate? You know, I've never heard of hot girl summer. We were talking about yesterday. She goes, I'm having a Sierra summer. I'm like, could I have a Sierra summer? She goes, no. You have to have a Russell Wilson summer. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I thought we were going to see a hot girl summer photo of you.
No, I'm not taking part
off,
in this because I think it's sexist.
Hat.
I think it's sexist.
You think it's sexist?
Yeah, I'm starting a boycott. We're going to go march after work.
Why is it sexist?
Huh?
Why? You can start hot boy summer.
Well, yeah, it should be. They should have thought about it before, so I'm going to go walk around the block.
Jeff, let's do a dad bod summer.
I don't think anyone wants to see that.
I know they don't. That's why we're going to show it to them. Dad bod summer.
Well, it turns out basketball legend Larry Bird doesn't want to be considered a so-called tattooed guy, not after this mural of him popped up on the side of a building in Indianapolis with tattoos covering his arms, hands, and even his face. Larry says he's worked hard on his brand, and the tattoos go against that. The artist who painted the mural has agreed to remove all the tattoos except for Indiana. What do you think about this, Al? Do you think that as an artist they should be able to express however they want to through their murals, or should she, this artist, I mean, she has abided to Larry Bird, but should she have thought of that?
Right. I mean, I look at I spent a lot of time in Indianapolis. My ex-wife is from there, so I've been there a ton of time. And so French Lick, Indiana State, Larry Bird, he's beloved there. And what I got from that picture is she's trying to meld the old school Larry Bird in his college jersey with kind of like the new Post Malone, like how people look now. He obviously didn't care for it because I'm sure he's not a fan of Post Malone, but I don't think it was a diss. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool to see people like a little tatted up if they never are.
Art?
You know, like I would love to see Jeff tatted.
I would love to see you tatted with a little neck tattoo. Yeah. Would you be offended?
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow. Jeff. Yes, Jeff.
Jeff with the face tag.
They put a Chicago up there.
Wow, hot boy summer. Hot boy
put
summer.
It out there.
Would you be upset if an artist made a mural of you and then they changed some aspects of you that you felt weren't true?
Of course. Of course I would. If they put something in there, like, you know, I don't know why I was going to say this, but you know what I mean? I don't want to give a visual to anybody.
What?
I was thinking of something else.
What?
Nothing. But what if I painted you? I'm not going to give the visual because then our artists are going to do something.
Okay.
It's probably not even appropriate for the show. Okay. Anyways, yes, I would be offended.
Yeah. You would? Now, what about art, though? Like, because earlier I felt the same way you did. And then, of course, Tori Shulman, one of our co-hosts, talked me out of it. And then I remembered when I was walking down Venice Beach one day, I bought a poster of Marilyn Monroe, completely reimagined with a bandana and tattoos. And I loved that version of Marilyn because of the juxtaposition. So should we be so picky when it comes to...
You bought a poster? How old were you?
It was a long time ago. No, it was for my dorm room, so I must have been about 19, but it was a dope poster of Marilyn. Jeez.
I think it might be a little different for people who are no longer here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But tattoos are very personal, and generally, if you are getting one, it means something of significance to you. So if someone is reimagining you with tattoos, that might seem like that's their interpretation of who you are, and you're still building your legacy until the day that you die. So I can understand being protective of that.
I'm sorry, is anybody on this panel just like, somebody made a mural of me?
That's how
I don't care what you put on there.
But no, I get it. Believe me, I would care.
No,
Depending on what the tattoos were, too. If it was something that
But if you spent your whole life not getting a tattoo and then they tatted you up, just because you're an artist doesn't mean you could do anything. Oh, it's okay, he's an artist. He leaves his stuff everywhere. What the hell does that mean?
He leaves his stuff everywhere. I don't get it.
Sometimes you're like, oh, don't worry, Al and Tori, they're artists, so they can leave stuff everywhere.
Oh, no, it bothers me.
Clean up after something.
You're right about that. You are so, there's no excuse for that. You are so right. You are so right.
I don't know what that means.
We'll fill you in the break what we're alluding to. Coming up on DBL, meet a great grandma who loves the thrill of jumping out of planes. Find out why this jump is extra special in Heart Threads, and caught on camera scenes you gotta see to believe. Coming up next. Give Al and Tori, I cut them a lot of slack, and I probably cut my husband a lot of slack too, because I think they're all total creatives, and I've tended to notice that creatives are messy. Doesn't mean they're dirty, it just means they're scattered, they're messy. He brought up a good point.
So I don't create? I'm not creative?
You are creative.
So, and I clean up after myself.
You're right.
So I hate people who make excuses for like, it's an artist. So you could paint tattoos all over. I was gonna use the imagery of, what if I painted you with a rubber gag ball in your mouth? Would you like that? Or do you want to take it down?
Can we say gag ball on the show?
On the internet, you can say whatever you want.
No, believe me, I see both sides. Gag?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it leather? Is it
35?
Yeah.
You can't say gag ball?
I think
you say gag ball. Do I have time to use the restroom? But you're right about that. I shouldn't give people slack because they're creative.
Why were you an hour late? I'm creative. What the hell are you talking about? You don't have ways?
First of all, I don't cut them slack. First of all, though, let me defend myself a little bit. I don't cut them slack. I just say I tend to notice.
You make excuses.
No. I say I notice that there's a behavior, there is a pattern, because I get on him when he's messy.
No, it's not an artist. You're messy. No. The two are not equivalent.
Oh, no, but they are equivalent.
No, they're not, because I create. I paint too, and I clean up after myself.
Yeah, they're messy.
It does not equate.
Okay, I can rethink that.
I hate excuses.
I can rethink that. Yeah, because then it reinforces their behavior.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then it's like, I'm creative.
He's right. No, I do think there's a pattern of behavior with creatives. But
I'm getting mad.
I think Jeff is reminding me that I can't reinforce that type of behavior, and he's right about that.
Yeah, wait till my son tells me he's creative.
I can leave messes. I'm creative.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. We'll see how creative you are.
That's guessing he'll have long,
when you get locked in your room and it's gonna.
Welcome back to DBL. Sometimes you just have to see it to believe it. Check out these dramatic videos trending now, all caught on camera. First, strong storms passing through South Carolina Monday uprooted this giant tent from its stakes. The tent didn't have a chance, even as people ran over to try and hold it down. Yes, those are people flying through the air.
Wow.
2 people did get hurt, but reports say, don't worry, they should be okay. That's like a full-on parachute air balloon. Scary, scary. Scary.
I hope that guy owns that place.
Oh, wow, that's terrifying.
And he's not just a patron trying to help out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just think if something blows away, your first instinct is to latch onto it.
Yeah.
But then I'm sure he was like, I need to let go of this because how high is it going to go? So he just.
That's scary for real.
Yeah.
Oof, makes you think twice.
About what?
Yeah.
Not to grab a flying tent.
Oh, think about that, Sam. You know what my mom told me every night before I went to bed.
Okay. I've just been told to move on now. Next, the moment a Denver pilot skids his place under the water in the Pacific Ocean. Can you imagine? Moments later, he pulls out his phone and hits record, all while treading water. The worst of it, he and his friend had some jellyfish stings. Whoa, sorry, I was so captured by the video, I forgot that I was reading. And a scene right out of Jurassic Park. A group of tourists on a safari came, oh, this is a different story.
He got saved.
Okay, he's saved. Okay, so look at this, you guys. Upon a herd of elephants, I'm doing a great job here. I can't stop looking at the video.
Videos are good. I'm with you.
Okay, the elephants became startled as they drove past and began chasing the safari truck. I apologize. Those videos are crazy bananas. I don't know what I would have done. First of all, the guy in the middle of the ocean treading water. Thank God, especially because he said it was freezing water. He was afraid he was going to get hypothermia, Erica. I know. And then the elephants. I mean, first of all, could we have divided up the two videos? Otherwise, I don't think I would have ran between the two.
I think they're all so good. I don't know if we could have dropped one. But that's the thing with the safari. Did you see the one a couple weeks ago with the tiger chasing those two guys on that motorcycle? I believe it was like.
Oh, I can't stop looking at this.
Yeah, this is.
We have to remember. I mean, when you go on safaris, things like this could happen. Because I'm always like, I want to go on a safari. This could happen.
Remember, for some of us, that's the first thing we think about. That's why we don't go on safari.
So you would never go on a safari?
No.
That's the first thing you think about.
No,
I don't go. Did you think about that?
Jeff's already done it.
You did? Did anything like that happen?
No, the animals are way out there. Like, you're lucky if you see something, like, if you see like a good one. You see some elephants and things like that.
One?
Like, you want to see the lions, you know what I mean? Or
not the lion chasing your truck.
You don't want an elephant chasing you.
Yeah. Wow. Coming up on DBL, a daredevil great grandma loves leaping out of planes. Find out why she's putting her life on the line next in Heart Threads.
Did you watch the Bombshell trailer? I'm asking Kelly right now because I come here and chat. Did you know who Margot Robbie's character was?
No.
Okay, I didn't either, so that's why I looked it up because I'm sure if anyone watching at home too was like, okay, I recognize Megyn Kelly, I recognize Gretchen Carlson, but who is Margot Robbie? She's actually playing a fictional character, an associate producer named Kayla in it. So it's not 100% based on reality, but I was wondering that too. I was like, she looks kind of like a news anchor. So that kind of answers the questions if anyone was wondering about that. But let me know if you have any other questions because I've been watching this trailer over and over again. I can't wait to see it. There's already another version of this out, another Roger Ailes type movie. So let's see which one turns out to be better. And if you've seen the other one, let me know what you think of it because I have been thinking about watching it. And I was also doing a story earlier today about Lori Loughlin, and she has a legal source speaking to people about the whole scandal, and I don't know if this is helping her. She says she's remorseful and embarrassed and didn't want to come off as indignant. It just so happened that she thought she wasn't guilty because what she was doing was kind of like the same as don't need money for a library or an athletic field. But other people disagree, and she says to her source at this point she'd take jail time because it's better than the prison she's living in. So let me know what you think of those questions too, and I will talk to you next break. Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about an adventurous great grandma. Watch how her love for skydiving turned into an effort to help others.
This great grandma jumped out of a plane for a good cause. For her 73rd birthday, Shirley Romig went skydiving.
When you jump out, your mouth opens and you're free falling, and it's awesome.
Shirley's granddaughter Cassidy joined her. While it was just the first jump for Cassidy, it was Shirley's 5th. This time, Shirley was jumping to raise money and awareness for PAVE. PAVE trains service dogs for veterans that provide emotional support and even physical assistance. For Shirley, skydiving is a thrill, but helping veterans means so much more.
22 suicides a day is just totally unacceptable. And when you can see what a dog does for these guys, I mean, I know what it does for me, and it does for them, and I've seen it.
You're right, Shirley. 22 suicides a day is unacceptable. Thank you for your work that you're doing for our veterans. We'll be right back.
Promotional
Hello, it's Wednesday. How are you? I'm great. I'm having conversation only on myself with a camera. Tori just walked back in on her lunch. Yeah, it's been a long Wednesday, but we're getting there through. It's the hump of the week, and then it slides into the weekend. So anyway, talking about sliding, did anyone see those big blow-up mattresses that was actually in Denver? So, I don't know if any of you guys saw it on the news. It made my day. So there was like an outdoor cinema kind of park thing, and it had, when I say hundreds, I mean so many blow-up mattresses that were all over the floor that people could lie on to like obviously look up and look at the movie. And then there must have been a big gust of wind or a storm or I don't know, something. And literally, I mean, I didn't see it in real life, even though it was in Denver. I wish that I had. I was actually in a hotel room with my best friend Polly, who was visiting from Australia. We turned on the TV and we just saw these hundreds of flying air mattresses coming at us. It was the best thing ever. I just wish I'd have been there. It was the best thing, and it obviously ever. And then we just saw the video now on the show of the young man. Obviously, there was I call it a gazebo, tent gazebo. Anyway, the structure outside, the gentleman's holding on to it, and it gets flown up in the air. And did you see him hit that roof? Did you see that with such force? It was awful. I mean, apparently he's okay. Apparently he really cut his eye open and it was really awful, but sending him lots of healing wishes. Anyway, going back onto a more serious subject, we're talking about Larry today and him being married 7 times. Technically it's 8, but he remarried one person twice. I think that's right, right? I'm right, aren't I? 7 or 8 times. How many times is too many times? Like, at what point, DBL Nation, let's say you meet the love of your life and they say, you know, I've been married 5 times. Would it put you off them? Would you still marry them? Now, I think you've got to put into this lots of different factors. So, for instance, you could get married really, really young and it could be a bit of a mistake, you know, a young childhood sweetheart that sadly doesn't work out. There's also the fact that this is a really sad one. People sometimes get sick and you can be a widower. So that's also an option. Also, not everyone stays faithful these days, which is really, really sad, and it's not a great situation, but it happens. There's also that, so there's infidelity. So what if you'd actually met someone and they had all these other circumstances and it wasn't actually their fault? Would you still get married? How many times is too many times? I think I'd be okay up to wedding number 4. So if I was wedding bride number 4, because I think, you know, it depends on the situation. But what do you think? Write us in, DBL Nation, hashtag, give us your take. We want to know how many brides is too many, or husbands, or spouses, or whatever you want. Are we still on? Not sure. Just going to keep doing this until you tell me to stop. How long have we got? It's never ending. David said 30 seconds. What? That was 15 seconds? It was the longest 15 seconds of my life. Just busy over here trying to amuse you lot until I wait for my Chipotle to arrive. Chicken and rice coming at you. Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. One very sweet story before we go. Check out this photo of a young girl mesmerized by an Ulta beauty poster. The ad features a woman in a wheelchair, just like the girl. I know, Al, the 4-year-old has a rare disease causing her to use a wheelchair. The girl's mom thanked Ulta for the ad, which she said stopped her in her tracks. I mean, Al, this is a beauty ad. This girl feels seen. She feels beautiful. Representation matters. It reminds me of that little girl looking up at Michelle Obama. Remember, was it a museum in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the picture.
Yes.
Was it Smithsonian?
Yeah, and she stopped in her tracks, that little girl. Probably around the same age, just completely mesmerized.
Well, I told you guys when I took my daughter to see Star Wars, and the protagonist is Rey. And she's not just like, where's the prince to get me out of the cage? Like, she's like, no, we about to do like, my daughter was like, who is this?
No way.
Yeah, it's like young women need to see that. I love it. I love it.
Anyone needs to see that.
Right,
representation. Like you said, anyone needs to see themselves in something bigger than they are.
Erica?
I just think that beauty isn't a hierarchy. I think that it's something that you need to see within yourself for your own purposes, but it's the idea that these things weren't even on the table, not that they're better or worse.
You're right, you're right.
Amen. Beautiful. Well done, Ulta. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Hey guys, today I am going to be trying my first ever corn dog. I've never seen a corn dog, I've never smelled a corn dog, tasted a corn dog, ever. The only time I've really heard about a corn dog, I think, if I'm correct, was when Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman said, let's pop a squat and eat a corn dog. That might be completely incorrect. I'm sure you guys will write in and let me know. But let the corn dog commence. Okay, so this is my first look at a corn dog. It looks slightly questionable, but I'm gonna sniff it. It kind of smells like it should taste like a donut. Okay, it's not hot, so I'm just gonna go for it. Do I just bite in? Just bite in? Just bite in. Oh, you know what? That's all right. It tastes kind of a little sweet. It tastes like a hot dog with sweet, chewy bread. You know what? With a bit of ketchup, I would rate this quite highly. 7 out of 10. To all the corn dog lovers out there, I salute you and I join the club.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, August 21st. I'm here with Tori, Jeff, Al. I am Sam. Let's get right to it. A 15-year-old student in Florida was busted for allegedly threatening to shoot up a school when police showed up to arrest him. His mom got visibly upset. This is at least the 27th arrest of this kind since the El Paso and Dayton, Ohio mass shootings. Let's take a look at the mom's reaction.
Go ahead and turn around. Put your hands on your back. He's under arrest currently for making a threat to cause a mass shooting / active terrorism.
Cause a mass shooting? These games, these kids say stuff like that all the time. It is a joke to them. It's a game.
Guess what?
So
guess what?
Wrong.
My time in law enforcement is all these kids keep getting arrested, and that's why the FBI and the local law enforcement is spending so much time. Because how do we know he's not going to be a kid from Parkland or an active terrorist?
He's a little boy. He didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he's 15, but he's still a little boy, and he's not one of the crazy people out there doing stuff.
Okay, well, he did what he did.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be treated as though he is a terrorist or something because he made a silly statement on a stupid video game.
Okay, so let's clarify that statement in so many words. You know, he said his name. He vowed that he was going to commit murder at the school, shoot up the school, 7 children, use his dad's MS-15. Very specific.
Very specific.
Very
threats.
specific. Given that, do you think that threats from teenagers should be considered terroristic threats?
Let me start off by saying, as a parent, I sympathize with the mom there. Definitely, because I would never want that for my child. As a citizen, there's got to be some consequences for those actions. I don't care if it's a video game. I don't care if it's Facebook. I don't care if you're saying it in jest with your friends.
Right.
There's got to be consequences. Where we live in today's day and age with the heightened gun security of all of our family members, I mean, I could go on. You cannot say that. It has to be known. You should not say that in chat rooms. She says a stupid game. Everyone in that chat room, if they're saying that, needs to have consequences.
Amen. And I think by us talking about it, by seeing that there's consequences, it's also going to reinforce parents to sit down and have those talks with their kids and say, you can't say these things. If you do, you're going to be arrested. You're going to be seen as a terroristic threat. That's going to affect your future. So I think it's going to affect parents now, too, now that we finally see some consequences.
I don't know if that mom knew that she was acting as her own worst lawyer in that situation, because the words she was using could be used against her. She said, he's not crazy. He's not one of the crazies. Okay, so then he's cogent in his thoughts with what he just said. So then he meant what he was saying.
Right.
Her better argument would have been, he's crazy. You know, if you're going to do that. And she said, oh, he just said a silly little thing on a video game. It's like, no, he didn't. The word silly is just like, hey, Sam, let's go do something fun and goofy after work. That's silly. When you start saying specifically about who you're going to shoot, when and why and how.
And put your name in there as a vow.
You said that, and it's time for you to own it. Like you said, Jeff, we're all heightened, and our response is going to be heightened.
I'm just happy, Tori, to see that there's real action now taking place, whether it's citizens policing one another, whether it's gamers policing one another, whether it's Snapchat, the FBI getting involved. I'm all for it. This is where we should be.
Yeah, this is what a red flag law...
I mean, we shouldn't be, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. This is what a red flag law looks like in action. It works. It's perfectly right. Remember, that kid had an M15 at the house, so he absolutely should be taken in.
So it wasn't that silly.
Correct. I'm a freedom of speech pioneer. I absolutely believe in freedom of speech. However, you can't say bomb in an airport, and you can't say this in this climate.
You're
and I
right.
agree with Jeff.
Yeah. All right. Well said. All around the panel. Please chime in, DBL Nation. Speaking of which, student activists from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School have just unveiled a sweeping gun control program. For the first time since the mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton, they are releasing a plan they hope the entire country can get behind. It's called the Peace Plan. I read it. It would create a multi-step national gun licensing and registry program that would include in-person interviews and a 10-day wait before gun purchases. It would ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. It would implement a mandatory gun buyback program. It calls for the installation of a national director of gun violence prevention, and it would also raise the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. The NRA did respond, saying the gun control community is finally being marginally honest about their true wish list. The simple fact remains their proposals and ideas are out of the mainstream, and most people will understand their real intent goes beyond what they publicly state. So just in response to the NRA, Al, as someone that supports the Second Amendment and someone that believes I should have a gun in my home to protect myself, I'm okay taking all these steps to ensure the safety of my child and your children and everybody else out here as American citizens. Why is there an issue here?
Because, look, the NRA is not going to take a fraction of a step backwards. They saw what happened to big tobacco, and I think it scares the heck out of them. There was a period where you could smoke in restaurants. You could smoke in a doctor's office. You could smoke on a plane. And after a while, people started pushing back, and big tobacco backed off a little bit. No more Camel Joe ads. No more smoking on planes. No more smoking sessions in restaurants. And now you can't even smoke within 50 feet of a front door. So because of that, I think they looked at that and go, we're not going to be them. We are going to fight. Hey, can somebody that's proven to be mentally disabled, can they have a gun? Sure. They're not about any kind of provisions or revisions of this law, and they're letting you know that no matter what, we are not going to back off.
Let me get Tori in here, because Rick Mox wrote in, Tori, one of our viewers says, how many gun laws are there already? And you still have people shooting up places. It's not a gun problem, it's a people problem. What would you say to that?
I would say that's actually not true. There are very few on the books, and it's not federal.
Gun laws.
Gun laws. So it's state by state right now, and 97% of us all want a federal background check and a registry. That's what you do with a car. That's what you do with an apartment. It's normal. 97 of us, including Republicans, agree to that. So common sense, which is what these kids do, and let me remind you, kids.
They're survivors.
Let's talk about 18-year-olds.
I know.
But let's shame Congress and all of D.C. for letting the kids have to make legislation. That's embarrassing. So not only is that totally common sense, it is an epidemic, and there should be a national gun security person in charge of prevention.
Like a czar almost.
It's like a czar, like a drug czar. Anytime you have a disease or an outbreak,
a
you
public
get this.
health crisis.
Exactly.
And Jeff, the one time that I've heard you want to be a spokesperson / activist for many things, but I really heard your passion on this topic.
Yeah, and to go back to what you just read, because I want people to be heard, and I hear what you're saying. It is a people problem. I do want to say that there's a lot of medication going around that we give our younger kids. We don't know if that ties in to what the mass shooting is now, because we've never seen this in our lifetime. I agree with you there. There's definitely got to be some background checks on the medication these kids are getting. Now, to disagree with you on the gun laws, nobody's taking away your guns. But tell me this, why does somebody need a cartridge that could hold 100 rounds for a AK-47? You don't need that. And if you do need that, tell me why you need that. I'm not saying take away the gun laws. What I'm saying is, like you said, 97% of Americans, you don't agree on anything for 97%, agree that they would be fine with some other gun laws. What we're trying to say is just dial it back a little bit. Get rid of the mass destruction weapons. You can keep your weapons, but I drive a car every year. I have to get my license renewed or my license plate at least renewed every single year. Every couple of years, I have to go in and redo my vision, redo my knowledge of the roads. Why can't it be the same for guns? We're not saying take away your guns and, go someplace and we don't want to hear you. I want to hear both sides, and nobody's taking any steps in any direction. Like Al said, they're standing fast and they're not moving, and we need to move in a direction.
So let's hope this youth vote comes out and protects these kids.
Let's hope that we can come together. Let's please, I pray, I really do. Well, one very sweet story to share. Check out this photo of a young girl mesmerized, you guys, by an Ulta beauty poster. The ad features a woman in a wheelchair, just like the girl. The girl's 4 years old. She has a rare disease causing her to use a wheelchair. The girl's mom thanked Ulta for the ad, which she said, Tori, stopped her in her tracks, and you're emotional.
I always do this. Every time I see this. You know why? Because the ad isn't about the damned wheelchair. For the first time, she saw an image of a girl who's pretty. It's just about a girl being pretty. She can be a pretty girl. And it's not about the stupid wheelchair. And that makes such a difference. And it's from the back of her head, you can see the pride coming from that picture. From
that just gave me chills.
Of her head.
Yeah, representation matters. You just want to be seen.
Yeah.
You want to be seen.
I want to put on makeup like every other little girl.
It makes me think of the Michelle Obama in D.C. Was at the Smithsonian. The little girl just about her age, just in awe to see herself, so to speak.
It's a beautiful,
amazing.
And Ulta, again, when I always say brands have to take a stand, that is a small stand of representation and inclusivity. So bravo to Ulta.
I know, well done. All right, well, DBL's live coming up. Triple the star power when Nicole Kidman, you guys, look at that. Charlize Theron and Margot Robbie team up for a movie all about Fox News. We'll show you a sneak peek for Bombshell. Plus, women in their 40s and 50s face unique challenges. We're talking to the founders of Second Act Women to help you reclaim your power. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. What would you do if you lived in a neighborhood named after a KKK member from the past? Change the name? Keep it? Your comments coming up next.
Hey there, DBL Nation. Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. That's a really good fifth host today, so please write us in your comments. Give us your DBL take on that. We would love to hear it so we can talk about it in the next segment. Let's go to the desk and see what's going on. Hey, guys, what's happening?
I have a question for you.
Yeah, I love a good question.
So Mr. Vato wrote me, and I love talking to Mr. Vato 53. He says the NRA is just protecting the citizens' right to bear arms. That is in the Constitution, and he's absolutely right. And I just have a question back. In that amendment, it says a well-regulated militia. Does anyone on this panel think things are well-regulated right now?
I don't think they're well-regulated at all.
Right.
I mean, we have a health crisis.
So if you
and again, this is coming from someone that's a proud gun owner.
Right. We all are saying no one's saying take away. Not one person on the panel.
But somehow that narrative gets pushed to that.
Because you have to stand fast on your side. I don't want to. I don't mean to call out the viewer who just wrote in, but it seems like you're standing fast on your side and you're not listening to what we're saying. And I'm not calling you out. I don't mean to be scolding you at all. But we're saying keep your guns. There's not one person on this. I would scold them for saying that. Like, you can't take away a person's right to protect themselves. I would totally do that. But to just quote things that you've read on the internet instead of thinking about it, my dad served for this country in the war. I don't believe he's ever shot a gun, a machine gun that holds a 100-round clip. What does an 18-year-old in the middle of nowhere need to have that gun for?
And is that well regulated?
That's what I don't understand. And I get your side. I get you wanting to stand fast with your guns. We're just saying somebody
Al's point
move.
Is very well, because I really think his point represents the extreme side where they feel like any chip is going to lead to more chips.
It's a great point.
But it's not if you take in the idea of the words of the amendment. No one's putting in the words. In that Constitution, the amendment says, with a well-regulated militia. If you believe in that obstructionist Second Amendment, then you've got to believe in a well-regulated militia. How has that not come across anywhere?
I actually think most people would be opposed taking away all your guns. I think there's this weird narrative that you think if you're a Democrat, that if you're pro-gun reform, that you somehow want your guns taken away. I don't want that. I would honestly bet that most people for sensible gun reform do not want that either. They want the right to protect themselves too. God forbid there was an intruder.
Yeah,
right. So I think
so.
we're actually all on the same side. It's all propaganda. It's propaganda.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Colorado homeowners have voted against changing the name of their neighborhood, even though it's named after a past mayor linked to the KKK, Stapleton. Here in Denver, we'll still bear the name of the controversial mayor, who is a member of the Klan decades ago. Meantime, Stapleton's community center and a local school changed their names to separate themselves from the racist past. So DBL Nation, would you vote to change the name of your town if it was linked to racism? Take it away, Al.
All right, Sam, let's do this. Carrie from Facebook says, no, the past is over and done with. No one would have even known or cared about this had it not become a big media deal to stir up trouble. Carrie, I don't know if this is about stirring up trouble. This is about talking about something that's uncomfortable, and a lot of times that gets labeled as stirring up trouble. Look, if this town was named after Adolf, if this was Adolfville,
right.
I don't think you would have the same
Hitlerville,
the same sentiment.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to understand that the people that some of these towns are named after have done horrendous things, and at least we need to look back and as a community decide if we want to go with that name or change it.
D from Facebook says, absolutely, racists don't deserve any praise whatsoever, dead or alive. I was actually against this in the beginning only because I thought it would be so expensive to change a town's name. You have to change everything, including every business address. But I was actually thinking about like Gerbersville or Hitlerville my own self. As a Jew, I'd be totally uncomfortable.
But as constituents, you are, especially homeowners, you are paying taxes for these type of things. So do you want your taxes to go to this?
Right. So it's up to the town, in my opinion. They get to vote. They get to say.
All you have to do is call Google, fix it.
But there's a lot more to it. It's very expensive to change the entire town's name. Everything has to change.
Street signs,
It's a lot that goes into it, I would assume. Rick from Facebook says everything is going to offend someone, someplace. Can we really change everything? You got a point, Rick. I see what you're saying here. Like we're saying, it might be very expensive for that town. They might not have the means for that. I get the racism side of that. Nobody wants to put racists on a pedestal. But it's like, if you want to go down that rabbit hole and find where you shop, what kind of eggs you eat, what kind of chicken, where they came from, where did that farm originate from? Did they use any slaves and how their business came to fruition? I mean, you could go down to any business and you're going to find something wrong. So to change everything, I don't know if that's the answer.
Well, Jeff and I, we talked about this during the break. I mean, Denny's used to be called Sambo's.
Well, I'm glad they changed
that was the name of it.
I think we got to move with the times. Ann from Facebook says yes, especially when it's someone who has no ties to the current community. Amen, Ann. I think it puts a stain on your current community who is currently inclusive, you would hope. I know 65% of the neighbors did vote against the name change, but perhaps because they thought it would be too expensive. However, this man, former KKK, well, current at the time KKK member, but past KKK member, he not only was a part of the KKK, but he made sure that elected officials in the police force, the police chief, and other leaders in that community were also KKK members. That is completely disastrous.
And you wonder why black people are scared of the police.
Yeah, I mean, I get why the community put this up to vote. And if I were a constituent in that community, I would have voted for the name change.
Would this be a big enough deal for if the name remained the same for you to think about moving?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
A lot of people wrote that.
My husband and I just literally, I swear to God, I'm not making this up, looked at properties in Stapleton and Lowry. They're right next to each other. And we looked at both of the properties over the weekend while my parents were in town because they were curious too. And I no longer am interested in Stapleton.
Wow.
That is a fact. But I don't blame, I know there's layers, but that's just speaking from my point of view. Coming up on DBL, iconic actor Robert De Niro isn't playing games. We'll tell you why he's suing a former employee for millions, and you won't believe the connection to the show Friends. Plus, we have a story about why you should never underestimate women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. Don't miss it when DBL returns.
Hey guys, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news for you right now, but it's time for Fast Blast, where I give you all the trending news you need to know in under 2 minutes. Let's get that timer up. Here we go. A 27-year-old woman just put a ring on it. Well, kind of. So there's a park in Arkansas where you can search for diamonds, and a Texas woman just hit the jackpot. So she was searching for about an hour when she discovered a 3.72 carat yellow diamond. That's right, a yellow diamond. She says she decided to visit the park for something fun to do with her family. She was apparently chilling in the shade watching a YouTube video on how to find the diamonds when all of a sudden she looked down and there it was. The shiny yellow diamond was mixed in with other rocks. Oh, I know what you're thinking. How much is this bad boy worth? Experts say there are so many factors that go into appraising a diamond like this, but it will most likely run somewhere in the tens of thousands of dollars. Good find, girl. Photoshop fail or publicity stunt? That's the question people are asking today after Kim Kardashian posted a picture of a new collaboration with her sister Kylie Jenner. Now, sure, you might think the weird part about this photo are their outfits, but look closer. Kim has 6 toes.
Oh my God!
A lot of people are calling it a Photoshop fail, but she pays her employees a lot of money to catch things like this, so I say it's a publicity stunt. A new study out today has people scratching their heads. The study finds that visiting a city park could make you as happy as you feel on Christmas Day. What? Researchers at the University of Vermont looked at hundreds of tweets every day from people who posted from city parks. Now, those people tended to use happier words and were less negative on Twitter than they were before the visit to the park. And get this, the study found the more trees, the better. The people visiting parks that were smaller or parks that were mostly paved didn't have as good of moods as people who visited parks with lots of trees. Now, I love a good park, but not much makes me happier than the feeling of being with your family on Christmas Day. Am I right? DBL Nation, this has been Fast Blast. Let me know what you think about all these stories. We'll see you soon.
About how they were aged out of their careers and started Second Act Women, an organization helping women as they age. Enjoy.
My name is Barbara Brooks, and I am a proud 52-year-old.
My name is Guadalupe Hurt. I am 46.
I'm an award-winning marketing director, and suddenly I was out of a job.
After 24 years of doing public relations and having a steady gig, I found myself back on the resume grind.
I never knew that age would be something, that age would stand in my way, and sure enough, it did.
I would say after, 30, 40 resumes that I had sent out, you can imagine that you start to feel crappy about yourself.
But I'm going on all these interviews and I'm walking out killing it. I know I'm killing it, and I'm not getting the calls back. It made me feel like I wasn't worth a darn.
But I refused to live in that negative space. I refused to let other people define my abilities.
Women 40 and 50 plus, there are many challenges that we face collectively.
So I've got news for you. We are here to break the glass ceiling. Enough is enough.
Wait a minute, I am good at connecting people and marketing and public relations, and I am good at building brands and strategy, and I listened to quite a few people who said you should just do your own thing. I pulled the idea off the shelf, was going to do a women's business event, and so I started up a marketing and public relations company, Second Act. Lupe and I joined forces.
It just clicked for me that I had found my next passion project, helping these women not feel the same way that I was feeling when I was submitting those resumes. I am the daughter of 2 immigrants, and I am completely proud of everything that they've done for us. This is our place. This is our home. We have a lot to freaking contribute. But people sometimes just don't even give us that fighting chance, especially as we age.
40 is the new 40. 50 is the new 50, 60 is the new 60. This is what we look like. We feel more confident than we ever have in our life. We know that we can design our own lives. It's just a matter of how. And Second Act really is the second phase of your life.
I want women to feel like, you know what? I don't have to prove anything to anybody else but to myself, because I'm pretty badass. And so are you.
Lupe and Barbara, thank you both so much for sharing your super powerful stories. I know that it resonates so much with our DBL Nation. Where can they find more information about your program?
Yes, they can go to secondactwomen.com. That's where they can find a community just like you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing again.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, Barbara, I've known you for a decade, and you've always been badass.
Thank you.
You too, girl. You too, girl. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Thanks, Alex. What's going on, you guys? How are you? My fake hair is stuck. Hold on. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. A lot of you writing in, and Mr. Vato is being very kind and writing back. He says, I don't own a gun, but I believe in the Constitution. And some people say a well-regulated militia may mean a military, citizens, and a militia. I actually broaden that to think a citizen militia is okay. I actually think the framers even went that far. But I do think they wanted a regulated citizens militia. This, to me, is out of control. Trevor Noah said this, and I don't know if you guys watch The Daily Show. He said, if you need 100 bullets or 100 high-capacity magazine to go hunting for deer, you should try fishing. And it's sort of a joke, but it is. Like, what are you using it for? Again, if you believe strongly in that Constitution, make sure you read the full text, because well-regulated is in there. And I think, to me, personally, that means not any teenager getting a high-capacity magazine. DBL, you know they're showing the Transculpt segment. It was listed for yesterday's show, but it didn't air. Thanks. We're going to check on that. The Stapleton family continues. Michael Loughlin says one ran for governor. Luckily, he lost. Naomi says you could have 3 people that own the same weapon, but only the mentally ill person could do something. Plus, many civilians buy the automatic weapons but never have the proper training. Again, all with well-regulated. To me, that's what that means. Also, I wanted to ask you guys what you thought of Matrix 4. Oh, we're talking about that in the next break. Sorry. I'm really excited, by the way. Oh, and 2 recommendations for Netflix or Amazon. Highly recommend Mindhunter Season 2. It's amazing. But I also highly recommend on Amazon Fleabag. It's a great, great comedy. It's kind of raunchy. It's really funny. It's by Phoebe Waller-Bridges. 11 nominations for Emmys. It's 6 episodes each, 2 seasons. I binged the whole thing. It's so good. So if you've seen Fleabag, write me in. If not, she created Killing Eve. She's the showrunner. She's also the droid in Solo. Thanks, Tori. Also, I lost one of my press-on nails, but I'm going to go put it back, so you'll see us soon.
Welcome back to DBL. If you're hitting the road next weekend for Labor Day, get ready for a travel headache. But don't worry, Tori and I have some ideas to make it stress-free. In this DBL Drive presented by who, y'all?
CarShield! My group of friends in LA came up with this idea for if you're in super bad traffic like Labor Day or Memorial Day traffic. The idea is to call Pass the Playlist, okay? So someone gets the phone and they put on music and whatever, pick a song, any song in the world right now.
Mambo number 5.
Oh, I love that song. A little bit of Erica is all I need. Anywho, you take the last letter, which would be E, and the next person gets the phone after the song is done and has to start with the letter E, the song, the next song. Yeah. Anything with, so I would do Everybody Hurts, something like that.
You would play that on a road trip. Why are you so sad inside?
Who hurt you?
We know you need to get to your destination. So here's how to do it without the travel headache. Set the alarms for the crack of dawn. The best time to leave is between 5 and 7 a.m. on Friday or Saturday. Let your phones do the planning for you. Use apps that help plan your travel and alert you of closures and delays. And for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote.
If you're leaving us right now, you can still watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next on DBL.
Oscar-winning actor Robert De Niro is suing a former employee for millions. We'll tell you how the TV show Friends plays a part. Then, a bride is going viral for wearing her wedding dress everywhere she goes. Is she nuts? Or is she onto something? and caught on camera. Incredible scenes playing out across the country. Sometimes you gotta see it to believe it when DBL returns.
Is it me? Are we on? Hi, DBL Nation. I just learned something new that I actually am very, very guilty of. So whenever I go to a beachy town or go on vacation somewhere tropical, I like to take like a little bit of sand and a seashell from there, kind of as like a souvenir and a memory. Turns out in some places it's very illegal and it can actually land you some jail time. And it turns out that taking some of that sand and some of those seashells is harmful to the environment. It can like really ruin that delicate balance. And then you could also bring in other like microbes into a new environment. I get that now, but I just want to warn all of you, like if you are one person who likes to have little mementos of sand, to be careful and kind of check where you are. Like this happened in Europe to this couple, and they were caught by airport security. So just be careful, big heads up. I realized all these little things that I've been collecting, I don't really have them out on display, so it seems nice in the moment, but don't do it in the future. DBL Nation, I want to know if you've done it. Don't want you to self-incriminate yourself, but maybe we can share into the fact that we're both all guilty of doing the same thing. Anyway, I'll talk to you next break. See you later. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. We are live. Let's get started. Put on your dancing shoes for Dancing with the Stars. The cast was announced today, and the celebrities really showed up. They include supermodel Christy Brinkley, basketball player Lamar Odom, Kate Flannery from The Office, and James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. There he is. Fans suspected this was Hannah B. from The Bachelorette. They were right. She is also in. Fans also speculated this was Mary Wilson from The Supremes. Boom, they were correct. And friend of DBL and star of Queer Eye, Karamo Brown, is also included. Yes. And now the show's longtime host, Tom Bergeron, is speaking about the casting since he was hoping for a season without any political affiliations. But former Trump White House press secretary Sean Spicer is one of the contestants. My dear friend Karamo Brown, I was talking to him earlier on the phone, and first of all, this is like, he's very excited about this. He's always wanted to do Dancing with the Stars, so this is a big move for him. Very excited. But he also wants to buddy up with Sean Spicer so he can, quote, educate him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do a little cha-cha education.
And well, I think politically.
No, I mean in the middle of the cha-cha.
You know, Karamo's a big activist, so we'll see how that works out.
It's really embarrassing.
It's interesting. You look at Spicer and now with Scaramucci. It's interesting how like once kind of like I wouldn't say hated pundits for the other side, how easily they seamlessly transition to the fan base that probably didn't like them for a lot of that. So
well, no, there's pushback. There is a lot of people Dancing with the Stars kind of feel how Jeff does, where they just want to enjoy the dancing. They don't want any sort of political affiliations. They don't want anybody pushing a political agenda. They just want to sit there and watch stars dance.
And to be, I don't know what Sean Spicer.
That just sounds like a weird thing to. I want to watch stars dance. That's all I want.
Dance star, dance.
I don't know what his agenda is, but I'm guessing he doesn't want to talk about politics either.
Right.
He got out for a reason. He wants his life back. He was doing his job in the White House. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. They're going to vote just to vote him off the show or not vote, however it works. But I don't think he wants to talk about it either.
Would you ever want to do a Dancing with the Stars? I could see you really doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard it's
I think you'd be good.
super difficult. I heard it's
Yeah,
very
you're
athletic, though.
training.
You played the college ball. You probably get good.
I mean, I wouldn't turn it down, but I mean, I'd have to do something to get on that
Apparently,
show.
it's kind of up to you how much you want to practice. Some stars will dedicate 6 hours a day. Others will do the bare minimum. So it just depends how devoted and dedicated you are.
No offense. That's why I'm surprised Karamo's doing it for what I'm about to say, because I'm trying to climb the ladder in my career, and Karamo's at the top of his career.
You're right. Karamo's at the top of his game.
And it seems like this is a lot of path back for a lot of people on the show.
I think for Karamo, number one, many people are seeing. Well, you could also say Hannah from Bachelorette's at the top of her career right now too. But many people would say that Dancing with the Stars has either been a comeback tool or a way to redefine yourself. So maybe you know, and this is just me speculating. Maybe Karamo wants to be Karamo and not so much the Karamo from Queer Eye. And I also know personally for him that this is a personal love of his. So you're always going to react differently to something that you. It
was a dream of yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think that just being from DC though, it is like kind of embarrassing. Like I'm sure you won't talk politics, but it does
for Sean.
Yeah, it just is like really embarrassing.
Spicer.
It's just really.
If it makes you feel better, he probably won't be on long.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Karamo's going to be the front runner.
Oh, yeah.
We will all be voting for you, Karamo. Yes, we will. We are getting our first look at the movie about the woman who brought down Fox News chief Roger Ailes. Check out the sneak peek of Bombshell.
Hot in here.
Oh, cutthroat, and the cast seriously looks like the famous people they portray. Check out Charlize Theron as Megyn Kelly. The resemblance is uncanny. Same goes for Nicole Kidman, who plays Gretchen Carlson. Bombshell hits theaters in December. They wanted to make sure these stars looked just like the people they were portraying. You can tell there's some sort of prosthetics on Charlize Theron with the nose, almost the lip too. Her lip looks thinner, as well as with Gretchen Carlson. They look like they transformed the lower half of Nicole Kidman's face.
You kind of had to be honest, because otherwise I'm watching Nicole Kidman try to be
iconic women,
Gretchen,
and this is an iconic story. I just hope, I want to know if they get the blessing. Like, I want to know once it's all wrapped up, if Megyn Kelly and Gretchen Carlson have seen it, they give their blessing. I just want to make sure that it is true. So hopefully their narrative.
Doesn't this seem like Pretty Little Lies at Fox News?
You mean Big Little Lies?
Big Little Lies, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty Little Liars. Did you blend that with Big Little Lies?
I did. Glad you attacked me for it. I was vulnerable, and you had me on the ropes. So you could have helped me out.
But I think this is an iconic, nuanced moment. It started it's not what started the Me Too movement, but there was many women that felt like that they weren't heard and they were taken advantage of at Fox News and finally had a voice, and some of them penalized for it.
And think about this too. It's kind of meta because some of those actresses playing those people have been in their own Me Too movement, right? So there's a lot of layers for these guys playing a very famous person, but also experiencing themselves on a movie set.
I can't wait. I really can't wait.
I think the trailers.
Look at that. Look at the resemblance. It's crazy. Who does Margot Robbie play?
I was thinking it was Ailes' wife, but I wasn't 100% sure. I have to check.
Robbie plays a composite character of an associate producer. She's not a real life person, Tori.
Good.
She's just an associate producer.
Good.
Roger Ailes' wife.
There is Roger Ailes' wife in there.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. I don't know it's Margaret.
Yep. Okay. Robert De Niro's company filed a $6 million lawsuit against a former employee. The suit alleges she racked up thousands of dollars on fancy restaurants, Ubers, and used millions of De Niro's frequent flyer miles. And to top it off, De Niro claims she binge-watched 55 episodes of Friends while on the job. This pisses me off. As a small business owner who knows that we literally will bleed for our employees, we'll make sure they're paid before we're paid, that I can't imagine somebody taking advantage of our time and our kindness and our generosity.
You can't imagine that?
No.
It's
I would be, it's so
because
disrespectful.
you're not wired like that.
It's
but a lot
so
of people,
disrespectful.
and this is what I'm saying. It's, a lot of times when people say, you know, the CEO is such a jerk, or my manager was such, it's like, unfortunately, almost like when I was a middle school teacher, you can't be everybody's like best friend, because people unfortunately don't respect that. They're like, oh, Sam gave me the password to Apple TV. When they're gone, I guess I'm going to binge watch, you know, Peaky Blinders or something, you know, whatever.
Right.
You have to understand
People
that, like, unfortunately, when you're air quotes cool and you're air quotes nice, I would say the vast majority of human beings do not respect that. People respect the firmness.
Yeah, you're right.
They really do.
I need to get better at that. I really do. I want to be more firm with my boundaries.
See, I got to be honest, really honest. I was at a bridal salon store, discount bridal salon. It was lovely, but the manager was really, really, really mean. And because of that, we kind of would watch stuff on the laptops in secret or in the back because we were like,
you didn't feel valued.
I didn't feel valued.
But what if you were
valued?
But what if you were a valued employee? So we don't know how Robert De Niro is as an employer.
Right.
I can only hope that he's a good employer and that he empowers his employees. And if you're not being a disrespectful a-hole boss, like, what a crappy thing to do when someone's paying you.
I mean, I'm not speaking for everyone in a cubicle, but I've worked in a cubicle with all the apps and things that you, social media, and YouTube.
Cubicle's different. You feel like a number, right?
But the frequent flyer miles, those are like personal.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm getting at here, because I can liken it, because I know with my husband and I, we've only been able to hire a handful of people, right? So it becomes very personal. They become like family, as opposed to, I've worked in cubicles too, and yeah, you better believe I'm like talking to my mom, and then the boss walks by and I'm like, yep, I need 50 orders. I will get right on that. Click. So I understand. You feel like, not to say that there's a difference, because you're still taking advantage of the man, but I feel like that there's more of a disrespect when it's someone that you almost consider as family, as opposed to you feel like a number in a cubicle.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. I mean, I was going to my cubicle story, and that was it. I was done. I like Robert De Niro. He makes great movies.
He does. Yeah. He makes real. What's your favorite De Niro?
Shame on her.
What's your favorite De Niro movie?
There's a lot.
You can't name one?
Yeah, I mean, there's Goodfellas comes to mind. Bronx Tale comes to mind.
Bronx Tale.
You know, Godfather is in there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Tori, what's yours?
Godfather 2.
There you go.
All righty, good ones. There's another unexpected celebrity jumping on the hashtag Hot Girl Summer trend. Steph Jones has a look coming in hot.
Hot Girl Summer is the latest online trend started by rapper Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, it's easy to participate. All you've got to do is upload a very summery looking selfie like this one. Jada Pinkett Smith was one of the first celebrities to jump on the trend, but now there's a new celeb having a Hot Girl Summer. I mean, are there any guesses? Let's have a drum roll. Let's see, who do you think it is? It's Jared Leto! So the actor uploaded not one, but 2 Hot Girl Summer selfies showing himself soaking up the rays while shirtless. I mean, who can blame him? Look at those abs. And DBL Nation, are you having a Hot Girl Summer? Back to you guys.
Ooh, Steph, thank you. Listen, I'm all about sun protection, but that hat, gotta go. Gotta go.
You're all about sun protection?
I am, but that hat, of course I'm all about sun protection. I burn. Yeah, okay. And I bet Jared Leto burns too.
He's doing what I always accuse like Instagram models of doing. It's like you want to show your body off, but they can't say, hey, I'm in great shape. So they put Hot Girl Summer to make it seem like, oh, look how ironic and funny I am.
Or they put a quote, or thinking about it.
It's a girl in a bikini and she's like, you should take time to reflect every day. It's like, would you get out of here?
I know.
But it's fine.
I heard that. Jeff.
Stop with the squats.
Wait a second.
Instagram.
What?
Okay.
Jeff, I didn't know you did this.
I did?
Jeff's part of the Hot Girl Summer.
You did Hot Girl Summer?
Yeah, buddy. He's tattooed, too, everybody. You didn't know that, did you?
I thought this was for a different story.
Wait, what? It probably is.
It definitely was.
It works.
You might see that picture coming up. Maybe in the next story.
I think we missed it. So
it's coming right up.
Oh, it is?
And we're not getting out of it either. We're going to put that same picture back up.
We're about to see that same picture. I just messed up royally. I'm sorry. I was just eager to get to the photo, but it worked.
And they had it.
And they were ready. They didn't argue. Well, I can't not see that picture again, so I'm excited. It turns out basketball legend Larry Bird doesn't want to be considered a so-called tattooed guy, not after this mural of him popped up on the side of a building in Indianapolis with tattoos covering his arms, hands, even his face. Larry says he's worked hard on his brand and the tattoos go against that. The artist who painted the mural has agreed to remove all the tattoos except for Indiana. What do you make of this, Jeff? Would you be bummed out by this if somebody reimagined you?
Yes, of course. If I took my whole life to not have a tattoo on my body and someone made a mural of me and then they depicted me with all these tattoos or in a way that I did not like, there you go.
And that's not Jeff. Jeff doesn't have all those tattoos.
And my son doesn't have a tattoo on his face either, so please keep the comments not coming.
So you think you don't like it? You think it's disrespectful?
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's disrespectful, yes.
Tori?
I respectfully disagree with you. I think it's what art is about. It's about pushing the conversation, making a provocation about an idea. And to me, what that meant was it was showing the Larry the Legend, the white bread kind of feeling mixed with the now NBA and seeing how the two kind of merge. That's art. That's sort of what it's all about. Now, had he be selling something and using your name or your image, excuse me, that's totally different, right? But for me, as a mural, you've seen Queen Elizabeth, Cleopatra, Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe manipulated for art pieces.
Where do you stand on this, Al?
I'm fine with it. Yeah, I mean, but I understand what you're saying, Jeff, when it's somebody's likeness. And I mean, we had the opposite of this. Remember, Allen Iverson did the cover of his team's photo, and they airbrushed his tattoos off. So it's just weird, and he got upset. People
he was like, that's a part of me.
Yes, that's who I am.
I think that was what a reference to that was.
Maybe.
A lot of that, too.
So if you're an artist, you could do whatever you want. I could paint a picture of you and any liking that I see fit, and you'd be like, cool art.
I might not say cool art. I can say I hate that, but that's your expression, and you're free to make it.
Oh, are you going to do it?
The music's coming on.
He is a good artist. Are you going to do it?
I'm an artist, so I could just leave things laying around.
You're going to be messy.
I don't have to clean up after myself because I'm a crazy artist, and I get to pick people out in any way that I want.
That's a current theme here at DBL with these two. These two.
They're messy artists.
Coming up on DBL, meet a great grandma who loves the thrill of jumping out of planes. Find out why this jump is extra special in Heartthreads and caught on camera scenes you gotta see to believe. Next.
Well.
Rob and I are upset because we thought we could have said she took all the De Niros. His De Niros.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Rob's always got good ones.
So he was trying to get my attention, so I kept hearing,
yeah.
You did hear me?
No, I think what I thought I heard was a whisper. Now I realize that's what you were saying.
Okay.
But so it was a great call.
Holy cow. Al, can I make fun of you for a quick second?
Yeah.
I mean, this video's amazing. He showed me this video of this tiger like chasing these two guys, which is amazing. But Al, dude, you could get these screen protectors for $1 on the internet that have your phone that covers the whole thing.
And it's upside down.
Where did you get this half of screen cover?
Bird!
So embarrassing. I got it. I ordered the wrong size.
It looks like a child put that on.
Oh, did you listen to that, by the way?
Which one is? I haven't heard that full one.
I just was listening to that this morning. It's pretty good.
What do you think of Dan?
I like him. Yeah, I like it. Look at Al's screen. Well, whatever. He's got a half a screen cover. I don't want to show
you.
it.
Think he would have been a good running, good to run against Trump?
I was just listening to half of his. Yeah.
Oh.
It's interesting to hear a lot of his things. Anyways, just making fun of Al.
True. You want to make someone says, by the way, that wasn't a good mural painting anyway. Michael Loughlin said, what was with the left arm? It looked like rubber, I believe. The hell is going on with that left arm? Is it made of rubber? It was a weird...
It was in his hometown of Indiana. I know he's from French Lick. It was in Indianapolis. But it's like, I don't know, just depict him in a good light. That guy brought representation to...
Then you never have interesting art.
But the artist said she's taking it down, so why don't
It's her choice to do so. I wouldn't have done it if I were the artist, but it's her choice.
You wouldn't like it if you chose something your whole life and then they depicted you in that light.
I agree, I wouldn't like it, but I would still support the right to do so.
Especially in your hometown of where you're from, you'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
I agree, but I still support their right to do it.
Well, I don't.
All right.
These Hall's Defense are delicious.
I like that story.
Welcome back to DBL. Sometimes you just have to see it to believe it. Check out these dramatic videos trending now, all caught on camera. Here we go. First, strong storms passing through South Carolina Monday uprooted this giant tent from its stakes. The tent didn't have a chance, even as people ran over to try and hold it down. Yes, those are people flying through the air. 2 people did get hurt, but reports say they should be okay. Can you imagine, Tori?
That's terrible. I mean, your instinct is to grab it because you're trying to help out, but you got to let that go.
I would imagine that would have floated away.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, you got to know better.
Wow.
Scary.
Yeah, that's I don't. I just don't know if that's you can judge somebody's actions in that. I mean, I think he was just eating, and the next thing you know, he was 24 feet in the air.
Yeah,
scary.
That's I think we said all.
Well said.
I didn't know. You kept looking at me. I was like, what do you mean?
I was going to help you out. I just wanted to see what you were going to say next.
You didn't say anything.
Well, Al
next,
summed it up perfectly.
The moment a Denver pilot crash lands his airplane into the frigid water of the Pacific Ocean, moments later, he pulls out his phone and hits record, all while treading water and waiting to be rescued. The worst of it, he and his friends had some serious jellyfish stings. Ow. First of all, terrifying. You're in the middle of the ocean, the water's frigid, hypothermia, scary.
He don't look too terrified. Yeah. He was recording
Well, he knew, because he knew they were on their way. No. He knew that he was able to contact them. He knew they were on their way. But you're like, okay, when will hypothermia set in? Have you ever been in the ocean for, I had hypothermia once, because remember, I used to be a junior lifeguard. And so when we would compete, I was so skin and bones back then. I was this little tiny kid, and when we would compete against different areas in California, depending on where the water was, I mean, Northern California can get cold, and you don't have wetsuits because you want to be really, really fast, right? So if you're doing a mile swim, you don't want to wear a wetsuit to hold you back. So there was one time where I had to get rescued because I had hypothermia. It can set in quickly. It was only about 15 minutes in, and it set in on me.
And what, your limbs just stopped working?
Completely. Like I was in first. I was way in the lead, and then I was just like this.
Whoever was in second was like, yes.
My mom was horrified. I was just like a bobbing buoy, and you're supposed to go on your back and tread water, but man, was I bob and buoy. Okay. And a scene right out of Jurassic Park. A group of tourists on a safari came upon a herd of elephants. The elephants became startled as they drove past and began chasing the safari truck. Yeah, you don't mess with elephants.
No.
Whoa.
And they're not trying to be mean. They're trying to protect their area.
They probably have a baby. I guarantee you there's a baby nearby.
Yeah.
You've been on a safari. Did you see anything remotely like that?
No, not like that at all. You barely see anything. You're lucky to see a lot of those things.
What was the coolest thing you saw?
The elephants get pretty close, and they're not like that usually.
So
you know
they usually
what I mean?
just kind of like sniff. What do they do?
I don't know. What do elephants do?
Well, what were they doing? Checking you out?
They were just like swinging their trunks around and throwing sand up there.
They were?
Yeah, it was cute.
Oh, that is
cute.
So, yeah. All right, we'll be right back.
Ooh, what's up, Daily Blast Live? I'm here to spread all the beauty tea, okay? And today we're talking about the fabulous Chrissy Teigen. Now, my girl, Chrissy Teigen, was seen on Instagram. She actually posted to her Instagram story of getting Botox. Now, this isn't your regular Botox by any means. She was getting armpit Botox. I know. Kind of weird, but let's go ahead and go back and talk about why armpit Botox can be good, okay? So Pit Talks, what I like to call it, let's go ahead and hashtag that actually. Hashtag Pit Talks. I like that. Pit Talks is great for people who sweat a lot with their armpits. I actually would be a great candidate for this because I can make a monsoon happen sometimes, y'all. It can be bad. However, not everyone can actually keep it under control like I do. So for people who are able to actually go up to that step beyond, Botox in your armpit actually helps to block your sweat gland to make sure that you're not gonna be outpouring oceans of water through the day. Now, if you're a celebrity, this makes so much sense. Why would you wanna go on a red carpet and be dripping in sweat, especially from your armpits, if you're wearing like a Givenchy dress, wearing a little bit more of like a, you know, something like Chanel. If you're spending a lot of money on that, you don't wanna see sweat stains at the same time. So I think Chrissy Teigen actually made an amazing choice to go ahead and get this Pitox. Remember that, y'all, hashtag Pitox, and making sure that she's gonna be looking great at all times. Now, the only thing is with this, I talked to a dermatologist myself, and they said that you should actually be getting Pitox done every 4 months. It actually rinses through your system. So
Grandma jumped out of a plane for a good cause. For her 73rd birthday, Shirley Romig went skydiving.
When you jump out, your mouth opens and you're free falling, and it's awesome.
Shirley's granddaughter Cassidy joined her. While it was just the first jump for Cassidy, it was Shirley's 5th. This time, Shirley was jumping to raise money and awareness for PAVE. PAVE trains service dogs for veterans that provide emotional support and even physical assistance. For Shirley, skydiving is a thrill, but helping veterans means so much more.
22 suicides a day is just totally unacceptable. And when you can see what a dog does for these guys, I mean, I know what it does for me, and it does for them, and I've seen it.
You're right, Shirley. 22 suicides a day is unacceptable. Thank you for your work that you're doing for our veterans. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
This is 10 minutes hot girl summer moment. Hey. So to be super honest, in the makeup room earlier today, I did share with everyone that I didn't know that it came from Meg Thee Stallion, and Dre was very disappointed because Dre plays Meg Thee Stallion all the time. Do you listen to Meg Thee Stallion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan, I know her. We're close, so I call her Meg.
Of course. Me too.
Is it Megan?
It's
I call her
Megan.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Or you can just call her Thee Stallion.
Oh.
Cause she like on her ish.
Does she use the horse symbol a lot?
Not really,
Okay.
but she's just like the stallion because she's the one. She's the finest breed. She's top of the line.
She's a
like,
thoroughbred.
Exactly, like straight from H-Town. Like, first of all, I'm from Houston, you know? Like,
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm looking so much.
Would you ever post a hot girl summer?
Yes. And I would say I'm posting this for likes.
Well, and hot girl
like I would
summer-
be super transparent of like I need some likes, and I feel like my abs look good in the shadow.
Yeah.
Hot girl summer.
But also, real quick, hot girl summer doesn't mean like being naked and whatnot.
Right,
hot
just
girl
proud,
summer
right?
means like having a good time,
Right.
being proud of yourself.
Right.
Like Lizzo was just having a hot girl summer and she was fully clothed,
Right.
like on Instagram.
Well, again,
you know?
I will be fully clothed. Well, I might be in a little.
Hey, we can try
high rise. Bikini. But would you do it?
No, absolutely.
You would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot girl summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot girl summer all day 2019. What's good?
You would do it too.
All day.
All right.
All day.
So is there
I
anyone?
have.
Does anyone think it's? Is it not just an expression of happiness? Am I right?
Kinda, yeah. It's kind of like I would say it's more of like excitement of being happy about like that you're having a good time.
Do I need to be in a cool location? Like, do I need to be in Greece? Because I don't have that.
No, we having a hot girl summer right now, girl.
Are we in a hot girl summer?
Yeah, it's happening.
Hold on. It's happening. So, Megan Thee Stallion, I bow down. I apologize. I've learned. I'm starting to download you. I
Hey.
got on to Lizzo a bit late, but he always is interesting.
We've
me,
had Megan Thee
teaches
Stallion
me.
on since May.
Yeah, but usually you
it's
teach
cool.
me and you haven't.
We have. Remember
That's on you, buddy.
Simon Says, like, put your hands on
Yeah,
your
that's her.
That's her. Someone cut this so we can send this to her. Megan Thee Stallion, you are changing lives out here, girl. Completely changing lives.
Okay. You gotta go lower.
Hold on. Yeah, we'll do that later.
We'll do it later.
That's for.
I'm in Dolce. No, I'm kidding. I think this is too.
Hot girl summer.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. What do we have, Tori?
We have a very interesting question, and I'd love to pose it to everyone here. XOOX, who's always very provocative and well thought out, says, Tori, what if someone depicted you as a Trump supporter?
Meaning a mural and you had to make America great hat on?
I like that.
That's a great point.
Right. So picture me in a MAGA hat on a mural in my own hometown in D.C. I would be so horrendously upset. However, I would 100% support the right to do it.
You would?
Of course.
You wouldn't contact.
Get out of here.
That's the whole
You wouldn't
idea.
contact the artist and tell that artist, please remove the hat.
You would
Giving
be
your
writing letters to your congressman or woman.
We don't have one. We have a delegate, which is another story.
Well, you'd be like, Mr. Delegate, there's a picture of me wearing a red hat, which isn't my color.
No, because then I'm a traitor against going about what I stand on, and that's freedom of speech.
All right, well, I'm going to get that happening. Any artists out there? I got some cash
see
for
you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye.
Hi guys, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital Team. I'm going to go to Jeff and we're going to talk about our podcast.
Oh, my love, thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Clips today.
We're all about the clips today, in case you didn't notice. Hey, Big Jeff, what's that?
All right, man.
Are you seeing that
Might have
face
caught one
he's
there.
making?
I was just saying how Tori is full of it.
You know what's not full of it? In the House with Jeff Schroeder and Kelly Schubert. That's our podcast. It's our Big Brother podcast. We do it every week. Tori still hasn't watched the show, so.
Nobody's watched the show. Not one person has watched the show.
Watched what? Big Brother?
No.
We're talking about Big Brother.
I was making a joke because it's a podcast. You listen to it.
Yeah, we already did that joke earlier.
Hi-oh! Crushing it 3 hours straight.
It's a great podcast, though. Despite that joke, you listen to the podcast, right? It's good stuff.
Great podcast.
It's great.
Oh my gosh.
It's riveting. It keeps you hooked.
He
waits for it to drop every Friday.
Every Friday. And since I'm 6'4" and dark skinned, I'm a big brother.
Anyways, guys, the podcast is every Friday. It's called In the House with Jeff Schroeder and Kelly Schubert. Jeff is, of course, a former house guest twice. I'm just a Big Brother super fan. But every Friday, we like to talk about what happens in the house for the week. Let us know if you're watching and check out our podcast. Bye.
Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Wednesday, August 21st. I'm here with Erica, Tori, and Brandon. I'm Jeff. Al has the day off, I believe. Who else is on this panel? Al is, yes, that's right. He certainly does. All right, guys, we're going to jump right in. A 15-year-old student in Florida was busted for allegedly threatening to shoot up a school when police showed up to arrest him. His mom got visibly upset. This is at least the 27th arrest of this kind since the El Paso and Dayton, Ohio mass shootings. Let's watch.
Go ahead and turn around. Put your hands on your back. He's under arrest currently for making a threat to cause a mass shooting / active terrorism.
Cause a mass shooting? These games, these kids say stuff like that all the time. It is a joke to them. It's a game.
Guess what?
So
Guess what?
wrong.
My time in law enforcement is all these kids keep getting arrested, and that's why the FBI and the local law enforcement is spending so much time. Because how do we know he's not going to be a kid from Parkland or an active terrorist?
He's a little boy. He didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he's 15, but he's still a little boy, and he's not one of the crazy people out there doing stuff.
Okay, well, he did what he did.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be treated as though he is a terrorist or something because he made a silly statement on a stupid video game.
And to a lot of people, that might just be a silly statement. But let me say, by being the only parent up here, I feel for that mother because I would never want that to happen to my son. Now, as a citizen, there needs to be some repercussions. They're wasting valuable time for the police, the FBI. The police was just giving it to her straight. There needs to be repercussions. We're so heightened right now with gun control and things like that, and let alone mass shootings. You feel bad for that woman crying. How do you feel about the women crying for their sons and daughters that got killed?
And here's what I have to say, because I can sympathize and I have empathy for that mother. I don't know what she's going through, but I know what a parent would be going through at that situation. Moms, dads, you have to sit your children down now and tell them whatever you put out there on Snapchat or on social media
or video
games, saying in these video games, it can come back and hurt these kids. Now, yes, they talk trash on video games all the time, but when you make a remark like, I, Dalton Barnhart, vowed to bring my father's M15 to school and kill 7 people at a minimum, that mom, stop the crocodile tears. It's time to slap that kid right there in the mouth in front of the police.
I don't know if that's right, but thanks for reading that quote about what he actually said. Yes.
Yeah, you know, that's hard to watch, but it's almost like, and I've said this a few times in the past week alone, you can't do what other people can do. So this kid might be looking at his older brother who could have said this 1,000,000 times. Yep. It's a new day. You can't do that. And we, in our lifetimes, were privy to the you can't say bomb in an airport.
I was just going to say that.
And although people had their things to say about it, people aren't walking around saying it. Why? Because they want the privilege to fly. So if you want the privilege of doing certain things and enjoying all of your freedoms, then that means you're going to have to comply with the way things are now.
And just to speak on that, it's not as if it's saying anyone who says, oh man, I want to kill everyone today, you can't say that. What this was very specific, and a reasonable person would think that's an imminent threat. There was a gun at the home, the M15. Yep. He used 7 students, used a number.
Minimum.
A minimum of that.
Yep.
So to me, this was very imminent as something that could really happen.
Yeah, and there need to be consequences for sure. All right, guys, student activists from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School have just unveiled a sweeping gun control program. Check this out. For the first time since the mass shooting in El Paso and Dayton, they're releasing a plan they hope the whole country can get behind. It's called the Peace Plan. It would create a multi-step national gun licensing and registration program that would include in-person interviews with a 10-day wait before gun purchases. It would ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. It would implement a mandatory gun buyback program, and it calls for the installation of a national director of gun violence prevention. It would also raise the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. The NRA responded, of course, saying the gun control community is finally being marginally honest about their true wish list. The simple fact remains their proposals and ideas are out of the mainstream, and most people will understand their real intent goes beyond what they publicly state. I don't know, man. It's just, if you're on one side or the other, I can't believe people think like this. You're so against, if you're on the right side, you're so against the left. If you're on the left, you're so against the right. I mean, I always say up here and say I'm trying to ride the middle. No one wants to take away guns. Nobody wants to take away guns. We just want to regulate them more in some kind of way. Make it a little bit more difficult in some kind of way. A lot of people write us in on the show all the time, and they're like, it's not the guns that kill people, it's the people that kill people. I do agree with you there. We're giving our kids way too medication. In my mind, I think there's some kind of correlation between the mass shootings and the drugs that we're giving our young children. So I bend on that side. I see your point. But you guys on the stand fast gun control line, there's no reason for 100-round magazine clips, right?
Well, I don't personally see a reason for 100-round magazine clips. However, I do understand the reason why we are unable to sit at the table together, because my ideology and my feelings about guns are ever evolving daily, especially the more that I really understand guns. I think, and it was brought up earlier, I thought it was such a great point. It was the idea that NRA and people who are pro or Second Amendment enthusiasts are looking at other industries where they've been regulated from the outside, and now those regulations have forced them nearly either out of business or at least out of a business that they once were empires, mainly big tobacco. When we have these conversations about all of these bigs, the big oil,
big pharma,
tobacco, big pharma, these are nameless, faceless things that we just want to call big. It's them. It's them. No one's even taking the time to really look at who you're talking to. And I think that when you don't look at who you're talking to, it creates a lack of empathy. So when you're saying, the Parkland kids are saying, which sounds very common sense.
Yeah, very reasonable.
This sounds like a reasonable, at least, step, because if you're not a part of the solution, then you're kind of a part of the problem. They're offering a solution. What I would like to see is someone sit down and take that solution and say, this is what would be reasonable, this is what is unreasonable. Not have very coded language to come back at something that's considered to be a part of a solution.
Well, what's weird is the framers actually wrote that in the Second Amendment. You use the word regulated. That's in the amendment. It says it can have no laws abridging their right to bear arms, right? But then people forget, very, very conveniently, it says for a regulated militia. Does anyone think this right now is regulated? There's no federal gun registry, there's no background check federally, there's no National Gun Prevention Violence czar that should be there. At some point, if you want to stick by your Constitution, read the damn thing. It says a well-regulated militia, and at no point do I find 18-year-olds with 100 clip magazines well-regulated.
Yeah, and I mean, we're in a 90 percentile. I don't know if it's 94 or 97, right, that we all agree that we could do something here. And trust me, I don't want guns taken away at all. I'm for people to have the right to bear arms. Totally for that.
You want to regulate it.
We can't have 100-round magazine clips. People can't bring their father's AK-47 to school. Like, we need to have more background checks, make it a little bit more difficult. I have to renew my license plate every year. I have to go get a vision test every couple years for my driver's license. Why can't it just be the same for guns?
And you can ask this, you can ask this question a million times, Jeff. It's such a complicated issue, as you guys are talking about. But I just want to highlight right now the Parkland students, because we just talked about a 15-year-old who's getting arrested for making terroristic threats. But how about these kids who once had the actual to protest, bring awareness to it, but now they're doing activism work and activist work and putting together gun legislation. Kudos to those kids.
Yeah, at least they're doing something. Yeah. Somebody's doing something.
Hashtag, where are you, Mitch McConnell, or the rest of Congress?
Hashtag DBL is live, and coming up, triple the star power when Nicole Kidman, Charlize Theron, and Margot Robbie team up for a movie all about Fox News. We'll show you a sneak peek for Bombshell. Plus, women in their 40s and 50s face unique challenges. We're talking to the founder of Second Act Women to help you reclaim your power. And you, the viewer, are the fifth host. What would you do if you lived in a neighborhood named after a KKK member from the past? Change the name or keep it the same? Your comments next.
Welcome.
Another rap show at 4.
Okay.
Monday.
Not me on Monday. I'm not here.
I don't think she's here.
Okay.
So she's like, no.
So Tuesday,
real quick,
right,
over
Michelle?
here, Natalie wrote me in.
Natalie, I love when you write me. Natalie wrote, unfortunately having a car and license is a privilege, having a gun is a right. What's so interesting is...
But Wednesday's good. Okay.
What time Wednesday?
Someone wrote this to you, and I think it's interesting. Natalie says, unfortunately having a car and license is a privilege, but having a gun is a right. We must change. Really quick, Scalia, the most conservative and Second Amendment pro guy on the court, also said that there is not a full protection for any kind of weapon and guns. Even Scalia says it can be regulated. So I agree with you, but I don't think it's all right for everything, no matter what it is. It's not like that, and even Scalia doesn't think that.
And to answer that, you're right. You're absolutely right. It is a right, not a privilege, and I agree with you. I totally agree with you. But why? My question is, and I'm trying to say this in the best way possible, why are you writing to go against me? Because I'm just trying to find a solution here. I'm not against your rights. I'm admitting that you're absolutely right. It is a right, not a privilege. You got me on that one. Why are you so against people just trying to... I'm trying to build a better world for my children. You could have your guns, you could have everything, but why aren't you for just having some more regulations against... If people aren't right in the head, I don't want to arm them with a gun. Like, I don't understand why the correlation is, don't take away my guns, but you could have someone with something wrong with their brain, and they have the right to arm. I don't know. I'm trying to find the right words to put into this.
You said earlier, like, there's no way we can just compromise. But don't you get it? The Parkland kids, in my mind, like Erica said, did. They put a great roadmap of a very simple compromise of reasonable.
Welcome back to DBL. Time for Fifth Host, and we talk about what you're talking about. Colorado homeowners have voted against changing the name of their neighborhood, even though it's named after a past mayor linked to the KKK. Stapleton is the name of the town here in Denver, will still bear the name of the controversial mayor who was a member of the Klan decades ago. Meantime, Stapleton's community center and local schools changed their names to separate themselves from a racist past. So DBL Nation, would you vote to change the name of your town if it was linked to racism?
All right, Carrie from Facebook says, no, the past is over and done with. No one would have ever or even known or cared about this if it hadn't become a big media deal to stir up trouble. Carrie, I guess what you find stirring up trouble is I find to be educating people. A lot of things that we don't know probably make us blissful, but that it also means that ignorance is bliss. And if you're comfortable with ignorance, then I guess you're comfortable with this.
All right, D from Facebook says, absolutely, racists don't deserve any praise whatsoever, dead or alive. I absolutely agree with you, D, especially when this man was one of several politicians who helped the KKK seize control over Denver and Colorado politics. He also appointed a police chief that was head of Denver or Stapleton or that area in Colorado that was part of the KKK as well. So if you don't think that present day wasn't shaped because of history, then, you know, like Erica said, well, you didn't say it, but I got nothing for
There's a Wikipedia, that's all we have the information for on Wikipedia about this exact topic, and it says in there that that man took down the chief because he was involved. He tried to reform himself.
Years later.
I don't know if that matters in this at all, that he tried to reform himself a little bit.
How much blood was on his head? Because if you look at that, it says, can we bring that back up? Can we bring that newspaper? Stapleton promises Klans that they can have anything they want. So I'm thinking of the blood of that's on his hands, that's letting that police chief say, that's telling that police chief, do what you want. And then the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan go out and ride out wherever they want because they can do whatever they want. So I get what you're saying, you know, because he tried to make things right. But at the same time, I'm thinking of the victims. I'm thinking of those families.
Of course, and I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just giving the other side.
I know you're not. Absolutely.
Totally. Rick from Facebook says, everything is going to offend someone, someplace. Can we really change everything? Rick, no. No, we can't. Washington, D.C., where I love and live, is based on George Washington, who I love. He owned slaves. Do we change that? So I get what you're saying, but I also think we can make little changes that really do help change the narrative to people that never got to win. So I think it's up to each of the towns. If they feel represented poorly because of their name, then yes, they should be able to change it. I wouldn't want to live in Hitlerville, So I don't think people want to live in Stapleton.
Good point. And from Facebook says, yes, especially when it's someone who has no ties to the current community. I mean, if we look in our past, I'm sure there's a lot of things in our past that's named after somebody that did bad things in the past. I just don't want it coming into like our current life. If I could only afford a house in Stapleton, again, I'm just giving you the other side here, rename the thing, you know what I mean? But if I could only afford a house in Stapleton that has excellent school districts and I choose to move there, am I supporting racism now because that's my only option for my family? Like, I don't want it to go that far down that rabbit hole. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, I was just thinking that Stapleton isn't a cheap place to live.
Well, hypothetical.
You have,
oh, you're right. You're right.
And
yeah,
it's being more. It's becoming more and more diverse. I think that this only went through because such a small voter turnout.
Yeah, 34%.
And that's the reason why. When it really comes down to it, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are shocked because some of the most diverse families I know live in Stapleton, and I know that they're making a true example for their offspring. So knowing that is a little disheartening.
Yeah,
I got a solution. We name it Jeffville, and Tori's moving in. Hey! Coming up on DBL, iconic actor Robert De Niro isn't playing games. We'll tell you why he's suing a former employee for millions, and you won't believe the connection to the show Friends. Plus, we have a story about why you should never underestimate women in their 40s and 50s like Tori
I'm in
and
my 30s.
beyond. Don't miss it when DBL returns.
Hey guys, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news for you right now, but it's time for Fast Blast, where I give you all the trending news you need to know in under 2 minutes. Let's get that timer up. Here we go. A 27-year-old woman just put a ring on it. Well, kind of. So there's a park in Arkansas where you can search for diamonds, and a Texas woman just hit the jackpot. So she was searching for about an hour when she discovered a 3.72 carat yellow diamond. That's right, a yellow diamond. She says she decided to visit the park for something fun to do with her family. She was apparently chilling in the shade watching a YouTube video on how to find the diamonds when all of a sudden she looked down and there it was. The shiny yellow diamond was mixed in with other rocks. Oh, I know what you're thinking. How much is this bad boy worth? Experts say there are so many factors that go into appraising a diamond like this, but it will most likely run somewhere in the tens of thousands of dollars. Good find, girl. Photoshop fail or publicity stunt? That's the question people are asking today after Kim Kardashian posted a picture of a new collaboration with her sister Kylie Jenner. Now, sure, you might think the weird part about this photo are their outfits, but look closer. Kim has 6 toes.
Oh my God!
A lot of people are calling it a Photoshop fail, but she pays her employees a lot of money to catch things like this, so I say it's a publicity stunt. A new study out today has people scratching their heads. The study finds that visiting a city park could make you as happy as you feel on Christmas Day. What? Researchers at the University of Vermont looked at hundreds of tweets every day from people who posted from city parks. Now, those people tended to use happier words and were less negative on Twitter than they were before the visit to the park. And get this, the study found the more trees, the better. The people visiting parks that were smaller or parks that were mostly paved didn't have as good of moods as people who visited parks with
Welcome back to DBL. Society calls it a midlife crisis, but Barbara Brooks and Guadalupe Hurt call it a quest to reclaim yourself. Here's their emotional story about how they were aged out of their careers and started Second Act Women, an organization helping women as they age. Enjoy.
My name is Barbara Brooks, and I am a proud 52-year-old.
My name is Guadalupe Hurt. I am 46.
I'm an award-winning marketing director, and suddenly I was out of a job.
After 24 years of doing public relations and having a steady gig, I found myself back on the resume grind.
I never knew that age would be something, that age would stand in my way, and sure enough, it did.
I would say after, 30, 40 resumes that I had sent out, you can imagine that you start to feel crappy about yourself.
But I'm going on all these interviews and I'm walking out killing it. I know I'm killing it, and I'm not getting the calls back. It made me feel like I wasn't worth a darn.
But I refused to live in that negative space. I refused to let other people define my abilities.
Women 40 and 50 plus, there are many challenges that we face collectively.
So I've got news for you. We are here to break the glass ceiling. Enough is enough.
Wait a minute, am good at connecting people and marketing and public relations, and I am good at building brands and strategy. And I listened to quite a few people who said you should just do your own thing. I pulled the idea off the shelf, was going to do a women's business event, and so I started up a marketing and public relations company, Second Act. Lupe and I joined forces.
It just clicked for me that I had found my next passion project, helping these women not feel the same way that I was feeling when I was submitting those resumes. I am the daughter of 2 immigrants, and I am completely proud of everything that they've done for us. This is our place. This is our home. We have a lot to freaking contribute. But people sometimes just don't even give us that fighting chance, especially as we age.
40 is the new 40. 50 is the new 50, 60 is the new 60. This is what we look like. We feel more confident than we ever have in our life. We know that we can design our own lives. It's just a matter of how. And Second Act really is the second phase of your life.
I want women to feel like, you know what? I don't have to prove anything to anybody else but to myself, because I'm pretty badass. And so are you.
Lupe and Barbara, thank you both so much for sharing your super powerful stories. I know that it resonates so much with our DBL Nation. Where can they find more information about your program?
Yes, they can go to secondactwomen.com. That's where they can find a community just like you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing again.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, Barbara, I've known you for a decade, and you've always been badass.
Thank you.
You too, girl. You too, girl. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Wow, Rachel Jones.
I never heard of
Rachel
either.
Jones. Hey, Rachel Jones for writing in. Rachel Jones says kids shouldn't be on Xbox Live until they're 18, and no one would have to ask if we should arrest children because they say something in a peer-related angst moment.
It was the top of the world. I'm like, everybody knows this.
I think that's the same as where it's like, I think people are going to be like, oh, now you're trying to regulate who goes on Xbox Live. My little nephew goes on Xbox Live, and he knows if I ever even thought that he was saying some terroristic something or some racist something or degrading women on that Xbox Live, then my arm will reach through that Xbox and yoke him up so fast that he wouldn't have time to do that. And he knows my brother and my sister-in-law would do the same.
But kids are dumb, dude. Kids are stupid.
I think it's something where now, like Erica said, like you said, we can't say bomb in the airport anymore.
Yeah.
So now this is something where you're gonna have to sit down with these kids, and even Xbox Live or PS4 Live is gonna have some disclaimer where it says racist behavior, racist words, terroristic words, xenophobia will not be tolerated. Encourage other people to go ahead and report. Report people that's doing that, because you hear everything on Xbox Live. You hear everything on the PS4 when you're in these. Someone told me that they were gonna fly and beat me up and have coitus with my mom, and I'm in my head, I'm like, I wish someone would come and knock on the door. But you talk trash on Xbox. That's what you do. But like I said, when you go into something and you say, I insert name here, vow to bring my father's vow, that's saying promise, right hand to God, bring my father's M15 to school and kill 7 people at minimum. Come on now. That's not just your everyday banter on Xbox Live.
Yessie Villa just wrote in, did Tori say kids are stupid? Not at all, I think. When I just meant teenagers are silly sometimes. I didn't mean that in a bad way, that kids are stupid. I didn't mean it like...
it. They are dumb. That's the reason why they need their parents, okay? You need their parents to advocate because kids are not that bright. It's true.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd be running the world.
That's right. There's a reason they're minors, to be super honest. Someone brought up a great point. Tori, Heller v. United DC gave up the well-regulated militia
aspect. It's a very famous Supreme Court case. Actually, they gave up the militia part, that independents and individuals can own guns, but that the well-regulated part is still there. And Scalia said, at no time should there be an absolute right to own any gun whatsoever at any time. That's not what we're saying. So even if Scalia said it, that it's not there's limits to the rights of gun owners. So I'm taking that from the most conservative obstructionist on the bench ever. So interesting point, though, about that they have expanded it to individuals, but that the word well-regulated, to me, should be used as why Parkland is creating a well-regulated system. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's a compromise.
I love everything you said, but I kind of like tuned out.
A lot of people do. Jeff sleeps.
Welcome back to DBL. If you're hitting the road next weekend for Labor Day, get ready for a travel headache. But don't worry, Tori and I have some ideas to make it stress-free. In this DBL Drive presented by who, y'all?
CarShield! My group of friends in LA came up with this idea for if you're in super bad traffic like Labor Day or Memorial Day traffic. The idea is to call Pass the Playlist, okay? So someone gets the phone and they put on music and whatever, pick a song, any song in the world right now.
Mambo number 5.
Oh, I love that song. A little bit of Erica is all I need. Anywho, you take the last letter, which would be E, and the next person gets the phone after the song is done and has to start with the letter E, the song, the next song. Yes. Anything with, so I would do Everybody Hurts, something like that.
You would play that on a road trip. Why are you so sad inside?
Who hurt you?
We know you need to get to your destination, so here's how to do it without the travel headache. Set the alarms for the crack of dawn. The best time to leave is between 5 and 7 a.m. on Friday or Saturday. Let your phones do the planning for you. Use apps that help plan your travel and alert you of closures and delays. And for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote.
Wow, that was a fun car ride. If you're leaving us right now, you can still watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
Oscar-winning actor Robert De Niro is suing a former employee for millions. We'll tell you how the TV show Friends plays a part. Then, a bride is going viral for wearing her wedding dress everywhere she goes. Is she nuts? Or is she onto something? And caught on camera, incredible scenes playing out across the country. Sometimes you gotta see it to believe it when DBL returns.
I almost broke the camera, but we're back in business. I have Alex behind me, because now that's where she gets to sit during my hit, and I love it.
I love it too.
Hi. I'm going to tell you, or at the back of your head, a story about Taylor Swift.
I can face you.
Oh yeah, I actually like this. It's like a little audience. So Taylor Swift is going to re-record all her old songs. If you haven't heard about that drama of Scooter Braun owning her masters, he's like a well-known talent agent. Yeah. So she's going to record them. She told this to CBS this morning, but there are problems because legally he could still get money for them. Does this matter to you at all?
I mean, it's interesting. I heard about this drama, so it's interesting to hear its culmination.
Would you care? Would you buy something if she recorded herself versus if it was an old song?
No, I'm not going to buy it.
Really?
No.
It's just not worth it to you?
No, it's not worth it to me.
See, that's what I was wondering too. Like,
would you?
I think I've just been reading on it, and it's kind of interesting to see them like fight back and forth. But in reality, I don't think it would make a difference to me if I was buying the old tracks and the new tracks. I guess maybe some of her fans.
If I were like a really big fan, I would probably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, if you care a whole lot, then you probably will. If you only medium care like me, then you probably won't.
Then I am medium caring too. It's like, I'm happy for her if this means like she gets ownership. I understand that aspect, but in terms of like us getting involved, if I'm gonna have to pay more for like an album, Let us know what you think. Thanks for joining.
Anytime.
Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live, guys. That bites in the name. I love that joke. Let's get started.
Yeah.
Put your dancing shoes on for Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
I love that joke, too. The cast was announced today, and the celebrities really showed up. They include supermodel Christy Brinkley, basketball player Lamar Odom, and Kate Flannery from The Office, and James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. I don't want your life. Fans suspected this was Hannah B. from The Bachelorette, and they were right. She's also in. And fans also speculated this was Mary Wilson, Erica, from The Supremes.
Man.
You almost had it?
Nah. But people were throwing out names. When Cameron Matheson was here, he threw out a name, and I was like, yes, but that's a brown person. And then I came back, and I was like, I mean, I think it's a black woman. I mean, I think that's not a white person.
Yeah,
like, get me out of this conversation.
Oh, Lord.
And check this out. Friend of the show, DBL show, our show, star of Queer Eye, Karamo Brown is also included in the cast. And now the show's longtime host, Tom Bergeron, is speaking out about the casting since he was hoping for the season to be without any political affiliations. But former Trump White House press secretary Sean Spicy Spicer is one of the contestants. Spice it up the cast.
He's going to be great because he was tap dancing around questions this entire time.
That was a good speech. That was pretty good. You got to give it up.
That was great.
Listen, he's not going to get political. I got to think he wants out from all this political thing. He wants out from under Trump's shadow. Agree with me on this. No?
I do agree with you, but guess what? I don't think the other players will stay that way. I think Karamo's going to say something. I think Bergeron might say something. I don't get...
They're not going against each other.
I think Karamo will want to speak out about the LGBT community. I really do.
Is that the forum for that?
Yeah, maybe not.
But does that make Karamo look bad if he tries to bring something like that up on Dancing with the Stars?
But that's kind of like telling a tiger about like red meat not to go after it. That's a really important moment. It's a platform, and Karamo...
Because you could have a conversation with a tiger?
No, I just mean I think that's
great. On fire, man. On fire.
Sorry.
No, I'm done.
Keep your analogy of the thing that you can't communicate with.
I'm done.
No, I know what you mean, though. He kind of has to say something in a way.
It's an odd thing. But yeah, I just think Spicer is so gross that I hate like just letting him come back and be like okay again. I wish.
Why?
Because I think he's a liar. I know.
Why do people think that being on the show cosigns that you're a good person or popular?
Because you're on like the most famous
Because it's about popularity.
Yeah, but fame and shame is absolutely the same game. So some people are on because of fame. Some people come on because of shame.
Okay, I'm gonna just
and he is in a really interesting predicament,
right?
Because even the people who technically would be supporting him don't support him.
Right? He's nobody.
So it's going to be interesting how that whole thing plays out. But I don't really see. I don't see it getting super political. One, there really isn't the time for it.
I don't think so either.
People are turned off by that.
I know, but I think Karamo, who is a good friend of Sam, literally wrote her and said, "I'm going to find time to educate him."
Is that something that was public?
Yes, Sam said it on the show. Take out Sam like that.
I don't know. Scaramucci was on Big Brother Celebrity All-Stars, and I thought he represented himself well, and a lot of people didn't think he was going to do that. I thought he did all right, but he was only there a short period of time, but he wasn't as polarizing as people make him out to be. I don't think Spicer is going to be either, but then again, there might be a fist fight. Who knows? Good for ratings. All right, we're getting our first look at the movie about the woman who brought down Fox News chief Roger Ailes. Check out this sneak peek of Bombshell.
Hot in here.
And the cast seriously looks like the famous people they are portraying. Check out Charlize Theron as Megyn Kelly. Uncanny right there. That's probably the best one, I think.
For sure.
Same goes for Nicole Kidman, who plays Gretchen Carlson, and Bombshell hits theaters in December.
I am so excited about this because it's so complex. It's so complex for so many different reasons. One, you have women who had come to a certain degree in their career, which means that they had dealt with all sorts of adversity. Then you get the big kahuna, Roger Ailes. They take him down. That elevator scene is so compelling to me. I don't even know what the context is, but the body language says a lot. When you're looking at them looking at each other, there had to have been rumors. The idea that there were rumors circulating in that building about each and every one of them, that discredits you, especially as a female being in this industry, like the idea that there might have been something untoward between you and a boss. So that is like a huge thing between them. Then you have women who are now at the top of their fields, and now they're the powerful ones. So by the time that most people are even seeing Megyn Kelly in a real way, they're seeing her as the power figure. But they're gonna show her before that. I find it to be fascinating.
I gotta agree with this on that. For women and maybe certain men, that conversation in that elevator was filled with words, even though they said zero. That trailer had a lot to say, even though it said nothing due to the body language, the way she looks her up and down. I also think it's pretty meta that the people playing them, Nicole Kidman and Charlize Theron, might have dealt, or Margot Robbie, dealt with their own Me Too issues, right? Like, how meta is that? So I think it's going to be phenomenal casting. Great job on the prosthetics of Megyn Kelly. And Bombshell is, I'm dropping a bombshell and you look like a bombshell. It's a great title.
Wow, you explained that in detail.
I want to go see this movie with y'all. Really?
It really did.
I just hope they depict it right. You know what I mean? I hope they're accurate. They're not super biased. I hope the people signed off on this. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to see a slanted view of what happened there. I want a real image or real view of what happened.
Yeah, I hope they do it accurately.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Robert De Niro's company filed a $6 million lawsuit against a former employee. The suit alleges she racked up thousands of dollars on fancy restaurant Ubers and used millions of De Niro's frequent flyer miles.
She stole De Niro's from. So harsh.
It was new.
Wow. Well, it was also De Niro's.
Yeah, I was making a pun.
Making that De Niro.
Yeah.
I thought there was a conversation you had with somebody about these puns.
All right, keep reading.
Not that I know anything about it. And to top it off, De Niro claims, I thought you were going to go there again, she binge-watched 55 episodes of Friends while on the job. To top it off with the miles and the Ubers.
That's where the hurt seeps in.
Yeah.
You know, you get really angry with somebody, but you know that you're hurt more than angry when you're like, and then you watch 55 episodes of Friends on my account, on my time. Like, it's not about the frequent flyer miles. It's not about the money. Now it's just personal. So if it's personal, I expect that she's going to have some restitution to pay.
I would think so. She took personal miles. You can't do that.
Can't do that. Stealing.
That's not good fella. That's bad fella.
There you go.
You're 1 and 1.
You're 1 for 1. You gotta even it out somehow throughout this process, and I'm sure you won't have a problem doing that. All right, there's another unexpected celebrity jumping on the hashtag Hot Girl Summer trend. We all know about it. Stephanie Jones has a look coming in hot.
That's right, Jeff. The Hot Girl Summer is the latest online trend started by the rapper Megan Thee Stallion. And it's easy to participate. All you've got to do is upload a very summery looking selfie. And we've seen Jada Pinkett Smith doing this. She was one of the first celebs to jump on the trend. But now there's a new celebrity having a Hot Girl Summer. Have you got any guesses? Let's have a drum roll, please. Jared Leto. So the actor uploaded not 1, but 2 Hot Girl Summer selfies showing himself soaking up the rays whilst being shirtless. I mean, who can blame him? Look at those abs. And DBL Nation, are you having a Hot Girl Summer? Whew, back to you guys.
Jared Leto can't have a hot girl summer. Why he biting?
I know, I agree.
Just have a hot boy everything like you're used to doing. You don't have to be hot girl summer. Jeff knows he's not having a hot girl summer. What kind of Jeff or summer are you having, Jeff?
I'm having a Russell Wilson summer.
Yes.
Why Russell Wilson?
He's having a Russell Wilson. Well, I said I was having a Sierra summer because I'm booed up.
Oh.
And then
I want a Sierra
I'm booed
summer.
up. I have a Sierra summer. I was like, no, you have a Russell Wilson summer.
Well, what kind of summer am I having?
A hot one?
Oh, come on, Erica. I just threw you an alley-oop right there. Come on, make me laugh today. But
a thirsty summer.
No, I just
your
feel
pocket
like
comedian.
if you're gonna do, the hashtag hot girl summer, hashtag hot guy summer, I feel like you should have a White Claw in your hand when you do that, because it's the most basic thing of the summer right now.
Dude.
No?
White Claws are not basic. They are hot.
White Claws are the beyond basic.
What are you talking about? They're delicious. They're refreshing.
Dude, they're everywhere.
They're
What's
everywhere.
Not basic?
Everywhere. Brandon, I'm curious.
What's not basic?
Yeah, what should be in replace of a White Claw?
Like a margarita, it's hot outside, get a drink with an umbrella or something. You know what I'm saying?
So you are gonna have a margarita with an umbrella, which has been around forever.
But White Claw.
You are frowning at White Claw. Why? Because there's less calories?
Is it because you have White Claws on your fingernails right now?
Oh no, honey, I do not have White Claws. These are ombre.
Yeah! I don't even know. Doesn't that mean that in Spanish?
Listen, that was pretty good, that comeback, and she just was like,
yeah, she kind of did it with the finger.
She gave
She White Claw me. Or umbre me.
Exactly. All right, let's get to this next story. Turns out basketball legend Larry Bird doesn't want to be considered a so-called tattooed guy. Not after this mural of him popped up on the side of a building in Indianapolis with tattoos covering his arms, hands, and even his face. Larry says he worked hard on his brand and that the tattoos go against that. The artist who painted the mural has agreed to remove all the tattoos except for Indiana. You can't do this to Larry Legend.
You can't do it to Larry Legend.
I don't like it. I'm not with this.
So you're comfortable living in a totally artless world where we don't have any interesting conversation and nothing is provocative because you want to whitewash everything about everything.
No, I don't at all. I want people's approval of the life that they painted for themselves.
But as an artist, I'm allowed to take a sports figure or a pop culture figure and reuse that in any way I see fit to reflect on society.
So why don't you tell us about a viewer that wrote in? What did they write?
XOOX, who writes in a lot, and it's a fair statement, wrote in, Tori, what if someone put up a mural of you in your own hometown as a MAGA supporter, a Make America Great Again supporter, a Trump supporter? And it's a great question, and I have to stand by the idea that Banksy and all these, I always say that wrong, Banksy, Banksy, am I saying it right? Basquiat, all these graffiti artists, which this was a sort of a mural, are allowed to play with pop culture. Queen Elizabeth, Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe.
I don't disagree with that, but then don't call it a tribute. If you're really going to make a tribute to someone and you really do want to honor them, then you need to honor how they like to honor or have that image. I do. Well, yeah, if someone wants to honor you, but they want to disrespect something that is against your core values, is that an honor?
But in some respects, if I call it a tribute, right, and in some way it is a satirical way and looking at it.
But it's not a tribute. He said he doesn't want it. It's not a tribute. He said he doesn't like it.
I don't want the tattoos.
I understand what he doesn't want, and I'm saying at some point art has to be free to express art, and you can't tell an artist what you like or don't like.
I can tell the artist whatever the hell I want to tell him.
I agree that art should be subjective and it should be free, but then don't call it a tribute if it's something that is against his core values. I mean, especially with tattoos, because tattoos are so personal.
Right.
So generally there's a story behind it, and then you've just created a story for a living legend who doesn't appreciate it. I think she did the right thing by covering up everything except for Indiana.
I do see what you're saying about tribute, but I just think if every time we're like, ooh, I don't really like that, you're not at all.
Then do it with somebody who can't say anything back.
I don't agree with that. It's a pop culture. That's why you're allowed to do it, because they have a right to do it.
I'm simply saying that it's disrespectful.
At all?
But no, I mean, I think that it's interesting that we have a fundamental difference in what a tribute means.
But I think as an artist, a tribute can...
Coming up on DBL, meet a grandma who loves the thrill of jumping out of airplanes. Find out why this jump is extra special in Heartthreads and caught on camera scenes you gotta see to believe.
We're in his plane.
A Dark Knight when he snapped, he's like, we got room
All she
for
wanted
us.
to do was continue the conversation.
Okay.
Fight it
Sorry.
out. White Claw, Erica.
The what?
Oh, you're gonna talk about White Claws.
Oh, no.
No, we're gonna finish the conversation, and then we'll go White Claw.
Oh. Are we on? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So Tori and I have a fundamental disagreement about what a tribute is. If you are going to use someone as a subject because you admire them and you want to make art piece as a tribute to them, does it have to be something that they approve of?
No.
I'm saying if it's a tribute, then it is.
Okay.
If it's art and you're just using them as a subject, then I would agree with Tori. But as a tribute, I would say they would need to.
And I actually do want to know more about, to me, what that meant in terms of art history was a mixture of what the NBA stands to today, right? So the white bread version of Larry Bird, and then you have
What does that mean, white bread version of Larry Bird?
Well, Larry Bird has always had a clean-cut image. He's always been
image.
the guy with no tattoos, and that's been the Larry Bird image, right?
That picture was on the cover of the 1977 Sports Illustrated article when he was coming out of Indiana State.
And Allen Iverson had tattoos.
Did you just try to reenact what he was doing?
I did.
Keep going, Tori.
But Allen Iverson had tattoos on Sports Illustrated digitally removed, and he wanted them put back on. They are personal. I thought that was a tribute to, in some ways, the NBA and showing the combination of old school and new school. Now, that might be me interpreting in that, but that's what art is. That's the whole idea. So if it's a tribute, unless she really meant it, and maybe she did as a gift to him, and I do understand that, and I take what Erica's saying, but to me, you can title it anything. It can be satirical, it can be hypothetical. Anything about that should be, you're allowed to do so.
But he's such a quiet. I get it for people who are asking for it, like there's Trump, whatever you want to put on there. He's kind of asking for it. Larry chooses to stay out of public. He chooses to be very quiet. He chooses to not be confrontational about anything.
But that shouldn't really matter.
I think it does. You should show the guy some respect.
But you
in
can
your own
take Tony
town.
the Tiger, who says it's great, and do anything you want to manipulate that image.
But he's not a person.
Well, you can do it to any human being, any pop culture.
Welcome back to DBL. Sometimes you just have to see it to believe it. Check out these dramatic videos trending now, all caught on camera. That sound was representing a camera. First, strong storms passing through South Carolina Monday uprooted this giant tent from its stakes. The tent didn't have a chance, even as people ran over to try and hold it. Do not do this if this ever happens to you. Yes, those are people flying through the air. 2 people did get hurt, but reports say they should be okay. That's scary.
That's a phobia to me. I have these dreams sometimes where I'm like falling, like something, I get propelled in the air and I'm like falling down. I wake up just sweating. That's a phobia to me.
Wow.
I can't watch that. Like you can't watch whales.
Yeah.
I can't watch that.
Wow.
All right, well then let's move on. I don't want Brandon to get scared. Next, the moment a Denver pilot crash lands his airplane in the frigid water of the Pacific Ocean. Moments later, he pulls out his phone and hits record, all while treading water and waiting to be rescued. The worst of it is he and his friend had some serious jellyfish stings there, but look, as you can see, they're coming for him. They're going to get him in that basket right there. All good in the hood.
Yeah, go ahead.
She seemed like she was enjoying
They both did.
Yeah.
They didn't really look like, I mean, first of all, it's summertime.
Well, look. No, they said the water was really cold, but when he first turns the camera to her, she's like smiling.
I know.
If you're like in a life or death situation and you start filming it, it's more life than death. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? That is so true, because I thought, why waste your arm strength? If you have to tread for another half hour, like what are you doing wasting battery and all of that?
You want to know why?
Wasting battery.
Seriously,
you want to
your
know
phone
why?
is your...
You know how deep that water was? He was standing up when he did it.
Oh, yeah. Brandon, you were into that story, man. You wanted to get in there. All right, wait a second. That was amazing what just happened, but is that true that he was standing up?
No.
Because if we go back, look at the airplane. It's not sunk, it's like stuck. So maybe it was
No. He had to tread.
Thanks.
Okay, but watch the airplane. You see it like upright.
That's because that's how it gets sucked in with the water, doesn't it?
Wait, hold on. It's coming up. See?
Oh.
Maybe
it's not going
one of
down.
those sand. What do they call them?
Sandbars?
It's still floating, so you could grab onto that.
I think it's supposed to be floating because the airplanes float.
Floating?
I guess there could be a sandbar that far out. Could there?
What?
A sandbar?
I don't think so.
We're speculating about a whole lot of stuff here.
Yeah, totally speculating. Again. They're all right. All right, and a scene right out of Jurassic Park. A group of tourists on a safari came upon a herd of elephants. The elephants became startled as they drove past and began chasing. Look at this, the safari truck. Yeah, that's scary.
No.
Yeah, that's a safari you don't want to be on. I've been on
Every
safaris. You don't get
safari
that.
is a safari I don't want to be on.
You know what? I've been on a safari, and I don't want to. I didn't say anything till now. You get there and it's so commercialized, and you're kind of like depressed a little bit.
Don't say that.
Is it
I
like
know I don't mean to ruin.
You didn't
go
see
there.
a lion eat a wildebeest?
No, man.
Oh.
There's so many carts going down to the lines. Like, man, forget y'all. He's like way up there. On that note, we'll be right back.
Get up.
What's up, Daily Blast Live? I'm here to spread all the beauty tea, okay? And today we're talking about the fabulous Chrissy Teigen. Now, my girl, Chrissy Teigen, was seen on Instagram. She actually posted to her Instagram story of getting Botox. Now, this isn't your regular Botox by any means. She was getting armpit Botox. I know. Kind of weird, but let's go ahead and go back and talk about why armpit Botox can be good, okay? So Pit-Tox, what I like to call it, let's go ahead and hashtag that actually. Hashtag Pit-Tox. I like that. Pit-Tox is great for people who sweat a lot with their armpits. I actually would be a great candidate for this because I can make a monsoon happen sometimes, y'all. It can be bad. However, not everyone can actually keep it under control like I do. So for people who are able to actually go up to that step beyond, Botox in your armpit actually helps to block your sweat gland to make sure that you're not gonna be outpouring oceans of water through the day. Now, if you're a celebrity, this makes so much sense. Why would you wanna go on a red carpet and be dripping in sweat, especially from your armpits if you're wearing like a Givenchy dress, wearing a little bit more of like a, you know, something like Chanel. If you're spending a lot of money on that, you don't wanna see sweat stains at the same time. So I think Chrissy Teigen actually made an amazing choice to go ahead and get this Pit-Tox. Remember that, y'all, hashtag Pit-Tox, and making sure that she's gonna be looking great at all times. Now, the only thing is with this, I talked to a dermatologist myself, and they said that you should actually be getting Pit-Tox done every 4 months. It actually rinses through your system, so it's not gonna be a one and done, guys. Remember, this is gonna be something that happens quarterly, so save those coins if you're trying to take these sweat glands away, all right? Now, until next time, guys, I'm Jeray for the Slay. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms, and let's talk some more beauty tea on the next video. Yeah, that one. Click that one. Just that one right there. It's cool. Bye.
89. Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about an adventurous great-grandma. Watch how her love for skydiving turned into an effort to help others. This great-grandma jumped out of a plane for a good cause. For her 73rd birthday, Shirley Romig went skydiving.
When you jump out, your mouth opens and you're free falling, and it's awesome.
Shirley's granddaughter Cassidy joined her. While it was just the first jump for Cassidy, it was Shirley's 5th. This time, Shirley was jumping to raise money and awareness for PAVE. PAVE trains service dogs for veterans that provide emotional support and even physical assistance. For Shirley, skydiving is a thrill, but helping veterans means so much more.
22 suicides a day is just totally unacceptable. And when you can see what a dog does for these guys, I mean, I know what it does for me, and it does for them, and I've seen it.
You're right, Shirley. 22 suicides a day is unacceptable. Thank you for your work that you're doing for our veterans. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, today I am going to be trying my first ever corn dog. I've never seen a corn dog, I've never smelled a corn dog, tasted a corn dog, ever. The only time I've really heard about a corn dog, I think, if I'm correct, was when Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman said, let's pop a squat and eat a corn dog. That might be completely incorrect. I'm sure you guys will write in and let me know. But let the corn dog commence. Okay, so this is my first look at a corn dog. It looks slightly questionable, but I'm gonna sniff it. It kind of smells like it should taste like a donut. Okay, it's not hot, so I'm just gonna go for it. Do I just bite in? Just bite in? Oh, you know what? That's all right. It tastes kind of a little sweet. It tastes like a hot dog with sweet, chewy bread. You know what? With a bit of ketchup, I would rate this quite highly. 7 out of 10. To all the corn dog lovers out there, I salute you and I join the club.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Tori.
Well, we had a comment. We were talking about White Claws earlier, so very nicely, Michael Loughlin wrote in and said, what are White Claws besides Erica's digital adornments?
A White Claw.
Ombre. Ombre, people, ombre.
A White Claw is like a sparkling drink. It just takes like a sparkling grapefruit drink, but it has like 5% alcohol in there and like 1 gram of sugar.
I thought it was vodka. Isn't it like a
it's alcohol in there.
low-cal vodka tonic or something?
I don't know. It's sparkling water.
Or soda?
Or seltzer. Is it? Seltzer.
Seltzer, yes.
Hard seltzer.
Drink seltzer.
We don't know what we're drinking.
First of all, they're delicious. Go get yourself one. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
First of all,